Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Only a Carpathian would come back to life now and choose New York. Tasty pick. Bonehead.
We were every bit the force. We live, we breathe, we sweat, we paid the price to be the best. Never been about the boys in the office. The boys that have gone out there night in, night out, doing everything they could to be the very best at what they chose to do in their life. Those boys are here tonight.
Well, I must have been away too long because my feelings are dead. I feel no remorse.
I only am who I am because I was born that way. I have a gift, and I am trying to not be selfish about it, but to use it.
My job consists of basically masking my contempt for the assholes in charge. And at least once a day, retiring to the men's room so I can jerk off while I fantasize about a life that doesn't so closely resemble hell.
It's my house, and if you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Grab a dog. I choke him, and I kick the shit out of him. And I all day long, I put up a dog's ass. Just bang, bang, bang up his ass. That's my pleasure.
Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
Sometimes shit happens. Someone has to deal with it. And who are you going to call?
Oh, you guys like to tell jokes and giggle and kid around, huh? Giggling like a bunch of young boys with a school. Well, let me tell a joke.
And boom goes the dynamite.
You know, when Seattle was coming out to this song, I'm thinking bittersweet. Nah, not the best song for you, Fezzy. Not the best tune for you. Ron and Fez show. Believe it or not, once again, Fez Whatley loses a major bet. You're on your way to Memphis, buddy.
Hiya, buddies.
Black Earl Douglas will be doing the head shaving as soon as we work out all the times with Elfish.
Right black at you, baby. I will treat your head, Fezzy, as if it were my own.
Yeah, well, we see your head. It looks like crap.
Your head's a mess.
Seriously, it's just all gnarled up. Look like Joe Rockhead.
And this is the worst ring entrance music of all time.
Yeah, I mean, bittersweet. Like, hey, we're here. That's the sweet part. The bitter is another 60 minutes.
It doesn't really fire up the troops. It's not like coming out to Iron Man or something.
Now, I'm talking to a lot of people, Fezzy, who tell me they thought it was a dull Super Bowl, thought it was a horrible Super Bowl. And I spoke with Giant Brian today, who's just crushed by that, who feels like people are not giving Pittsburgh the respect they deserve. He's waited his entire lifetime to pick up one for the thumb, and everywhere he goes, people are bad-mouthing his team.
Oh, that's a shame that people are pissing on his big day for his Steelers.
Well, there's a lot of people, like non-football fans, that like to see a lot of passing, that kind of old L.A. Rams kind of, St. Louis Rams kind of a game going on, something just wide open and going down to the last minute. It wasn't a bad game. I will say this in your defense. I thought it was the worst officiating I've seen in a playoff game, maybe ever.
3 major calls alone.
Yes.
Roethlisberger did not score that touchdown. That was not a push-off when Seattle scored a touchdown and it was called back.
Right.
And that was not holding when Hasselbeck took Seattle down to the 1 and it got called back.
So it was, and you know what, there was a couple of, it just felt like the referees were very involved in the game, whether those were good calls or not good calls. You're used to, by the time you get to the playoffs, the rule of thumb is always let these guys play it out because you don't want to come back and hear this shit later that somehow the fix was in.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to hear if you're the NFL, is that, your officials, that they won the game for somebody.
Well, the Seattle fans are bitching and moaning, and anyone who had a bet in that game is kind of bitching and moaning. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. All right, terms of the bet, Earl, where are we? What exactly does Fez owe? And say it exact. Don't miss one thing.
He gets his head shaved.
Well, you wouldn't start there. Elfish has to, what, fly here, come by train? What is happening with the bet?
He is flying to New York.
Yeah.
He is staying with Fez.
Right.
He is going to dinner at the Hard Rock with Fez.
Which, luckily for you, Fez, is not a... I think you can pull off something there if the guy's a hamburger eater rather than,
That's all he wants. For him, it's the location. It's not the meal. He doesn't need the great New York City meal.
Right. But who needs the location of the Hard Rock after all these years?
The only problem I'm facing there is bar tab.
Yeah, but you would face that no matter where you went in town, and you're probably going to get a better deal there on drinks than you would any high-end restaurant. All right, what else are we?
Limo playing Foreigner's Greatest Hits.
That I don't understand at all. The Foreigner's Greatest Hits. And how are you going to get that to the limo driver, Fez?
Yeah, that I don't understand. How am I going to slip that to him?
We also have...
That's going to cost... I'm going to have to grease a palm on that one.
Yeah, and get him to stop at your house instead of just the airport. That's kind of annoying.
And, of course, addition to the head shaving, Fez will have his head painted blue like the Blue Man Group.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that one.
And then they take a beautiful flight to Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, not necessarily true. They got to go to D.C. and pick up his mom, and then off to Memphis.
Yes, and then you got to pick up his mama.
So,
yeah.
Earl, I'm going to totally need you this week to set up the logistics of this thing.
And let's get it over with. I don't want him on the show a lot. I know we got to put up with him. Let's just do it quick, like it was a mafia hit.
Yeah, we'll definitely do the head shaving like you do in the Army, just a quick buzz through.
No, I don't mean that. I mean anything that we got to do. I don't want a lot of talk about this on the air and, the limo wasn't there and I didn't get there. I just don't want to deal with it. It's just been...
This has been a 2-month thing.
Yes.
I want this over.
Yes. All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Adam, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I agree. The officiating was pretty bad. Too many flags. And I wanted to see what y'all thought about having a new ball for every play. Seemed like Hasselbeck threw a couple of passes that just slipped out of his hand.
Well, I mean, at least that happened to both teams, so you can't bitch about that too much. It was stupid to do that, but I guess they want to sell everything on eBay, huh?
Yeah,
it's all
have a ball for every play.
Yeah, just one more gimmick to throw in there with the big XL on these embossed on these footballs.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, the big Super Bowl 40 logo on every ball.
So basically, those balls go out to whoever bought a commercial time and all that kind of stuff.
It's like when the president signs some bill and everyone stands there and gets a pen.
Right, which they act like I got the pen. Just so stupid. Hey, Blake, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing? Big S 576.
Way to go, old school for us.
Well, I thought last night's game, not only was the officiating awful, I thought that was one of the sloppiest games I've ever seen with all the drop passes. And
there was a lot of drop passes. Roethlisberger, in particularly, looked just freaked. There was a lot of ugliness on Seattle's time. The 2 minutes at the half and at the end of the game. Just not big league stuff.
In the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad time management and passes being thrown out of bounds where, the guy can make a catch, Stevens or whatever, and, but he can't get both feet in.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a gigantic amount of plays like that. So, it's not that Seattle deserved to win this game or it was robbed from them, but there were definitely, the officiating played a bigger part in that than the Super Bowl, and you never want to see that happen. Here's the Twisted Trucker. You're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, can we agree that Aaron Neville and Aretha Franklin just stumped off their joint with the national anthem?
I'll say half of it. I thought Aaron Neville was awful, but I thought Aretha was fine. Although a little too thin for me. I thought she was down to bust size. Am I wrong, or does she look like she dropped weight?
She actually looked like she dropped weight as big as she was, because when she sang at the U.S. Open, the tennis open, she was twice that size.
Yeah, she didn't even need oxygen this time. But what was with Aaron Neville, Earl? I know. What's the community saying?
Well, I know they were trying to bring in the whole New Orleans aspect of it.
But why can't the guy sing? What's the problem there?
His mole could have done a better job.
What the hell was that?
I mean, you could have brought it. Honestly, you could have brought in anybody but Aaron Neville at that point, and everyone's like, "Why is Aaron Neville there?" Because just the two voices just didn't go together. It made him sound twice as worse.
One person could sing, the other person couldn't,
and it just made him sound twice as bad.
What did you think of Stevie Wonder in the pregame?
Stevie's getting heavy.
My problem is this: why do that 5 seconds of songs and move on? If you're going to do the song, do the song. Why is everything a medley with these guys?
And Aretha Franklin, between the fur coat and the wig, did she look just like the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz? She would even do that when she would close her eyes to sing and she'd open them again. She'd even do that stammer blink where he's like looking at the wizard like he was all cross-eyed.
That's because she starts to lose her balance, Fezzy. Once she closes and opens, she figures out what... Here's Dirty. You're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I've been watching football my whole life. I never heard the term gadget play before, and then they're spouting that shit off like it's going out of style.
Yeah, that did seem to be the new hook. For a while, it was called gimmick play, and gadgets caught on in the last couple of years.
What happened to flea flicker or trick play? Now it's got to have a fucking name?
Yeah, now, everybody's got to be in the hizzy. That's what it's all about. It's about trying to keep up with the kids.
It makes the coach sound all the smarter.
Yeah.
Instead of trick play, gadget play sounds like you've actually invented something.
Well, he acts like he wore his throwback jersey. You know what I'm saying? He feels like he's part of the streets.
Like all the ESPN guys now, they're like, take it to the house.
Yeah, right.
Just don't say it.
Yeah, the
Sean
entire ESPN thing is just the wannabe network. It's the wannabe network all the way across. So ABC is heading that way, so I guess that's what the gimmick was. That's the gadget. That's the brand new gadget. Josh, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how's it going? Just want to get your take on the Rolling Stones. I thought they just sucked.
Could somebody admit that I have a crystal ball that they open with the stupid Start Me Up song? that I said, you watch, they'll do that, and then we'll all hate them. Here's what I loved about that. The people that run the payroll were going crazy. But then when Mick turned around and tried to work the actual crowd, you just saw a bunch of guys sitting there staring at him. But the people that were in the pit were going out of their fucking minds.
The Up With People extras that were just out there, everyone in brightly colored clothes.
I can't say I would give it a passing grade. I just didn't feel like it happened out there. Just didn't feel like it went down. Although, I will give them this, they got bleeped twice. 3 songs, bleeped 2 of them. So you got to give the Stones something for that. But as far as the way they sounded, hideous. Fernando, you're on Ron and Fez.
1519, guys.
Way to go, old school, bud.
Hoo-ah! I'm glad they used your idea in a commercial so they're playing the retards football.
Well, it wasn't a commercial, but it was part of the pregame show. I actually TiVoed
Which one was
that.
your son?
I actually TiVoed that and showed it to Fez when he showed up at my house because it was so uncomfortable.
I was shocked by this thing. So it's Down syndrome kids, retard kids, palsy kids in wheelchairs all playing football with their dads pushing them in their wheelchairs. One kid got pushed so hard by his father that he had a seizure out there.
Yeah, it was an amazingly heartwarming tale. It was part of the heartwarming things where you're supposed to cry on the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, really feel good. We got everyone just in the mood for a big celebratory game. And the one kid whose dad pushed him until he had a seizure, you know, they're talking about how they don't keep score, nobody wins, nobody loses, but yet this kid, his football falls out of his wheelchair. He stopped right there. He's denied a touchdown and actually has such a fit about it, they had to take him out of the game.
Hey, John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. Fez, what do you think about Double or Nothing on the Pro Bowl?
That's
Fez.
interesting.
Earl, you're saying no?
No.
I say if Fez can get the bet, he can get the bet. But it can't happen on the air. If you can get the bet off the air, Fez, yes. But now you're going to go a cruise around the world or something. And here's the other thing, Sleprock. You're going to lose. No one is as bad as betting football as you.
Well, what'll happen is I'd have to take the stakes up so high, I would have to build Elfish and his mom one of those extreme makeover home edition things, where I just build them a new house and we have an unveiling.
Now, Fez, part of that bet was, too, you can't talk about football next year. That is off the show. We already fired your idol who did the show for like 6-7 weeks, and is every bit as bad as you. And you read his magazine to get, what do you call them, your trends?
Yeah, the trends out of there.
Yeah, which I remember the day that I asked you, what exactly do you mean when you say trend? And you locked up. You had no idea.
I have a clue.
You had used that term 100 times on this show till finally once I interrupted you. So, no, I don't want you betting next year. I don't want you talking about football. I don't want you watching football.
When's the draft? April? Just to start looking forward to it again.
Seriously, Fez, you just can't do it. And you're going to know that when you're in some cramped plane heading to Memphis, praying the thing goes down. For the first time in your life, you are going to be saying to yourself, crash this bastard, crash this bastard.
That's the best I can hope for now in this bet.
Here is, it's our buddy the Ass-Man. Hey, Ass-Man, how are you, buddy?
Good morning. 2149.
All right, buddy, what's happening?
Fezzy, keep betting, keep betting, keep betting. You made me a shitload of money yesterday. I'd like to thank you, brother.
You did well, Ass-Man.
I pushed it all in. People thought it was nuts. They were like, oh, come on, Seattle's going to win. I'm like, you don't understand. And Riley put the kibosh on the whole game.
It's really true. You put the kibosh on the whole damn thing. And I swear, when they came running out to the Verb, which is the worst tune I've ever heard, not that it's a bad song, but it's just too depressing to come running out of the tunnel at during the first game, the biggest game of your life.
Why not some Seattle grunge, something?
Yeah, man. You could have Diamond Dallas Page the thing and came out high five. They would have went nuts.
And how about Josh Stone at the beginning in that skimpy little outfit? I was cranking to that.
I got news for you. I'm off the Josh Stone thing. It's not working for me. I'm going to say this: it's soul, Earl, but it's corporate soul. And your cat power, I don't know if I can get into that. I've given it two spins.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Talk to you later, ass man. See you later.
It's good to know he made some money and was jerking off during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Pre-game music.
I want to hear back from that guy from Seattle from the other day who called us East Coast elitist, even though Fez had bet with him.
Yeah, that was the guy I was on his side.
Right, and he's still screaming at you. If you're in Seattle, you got to just feel so fucking depressed today. It's got to feel awful.
Oh, you got to think that, all right, it's your first time going in, 30-plus years? Yeah, probably right about 29, 30 years.
Yeah, about 30 years.
And you got to be thinking, we won't go back. It'll take another 30 to get back there.
Yeah, take another 30.
It's just too hard to get back.
Yeah. And isn't even Jason Alexander might be leaving this year?
Oh, yeah, Sean Alexander?
Sean
yep.
Alexander, Jason Alexander. What a fucking idiot I am. What a moron. Of course, I'm not flying to Memphis with Elfish, but other than that, I'm out of my mind. Out of my mind. He might as well have been Jason Alexander yesterday. His name didn't even come up during the game. He had almost 100 yards, but still, nothing really big. Here's James. James, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Hey.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I feel bad for anybody, especially the Stones. You said he sounded horrible. I didn't even bother to stop and listen, but the sound guys on TV must be high or something. They just suck. I've always been disappointed all my life on almost everything on TV, you know?
You know what? That's a very good point. Why is that, Earl? You were the sound man for the O&A Halloween party, and you took the heat on that. What is the problem with putting together something like that?
Well, you need two sets of mixes. You need one guy to mix it on the floor,
right?
And you need another guy to mix.
But
for
why
broadcast.
can't they figure that out after all these years for the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I was reading somewhere that stage that they had to set up, they had less than 10 minutes to set it up,
and
there's no sound check.
It's also that dome thing. It's going to sound even worse than a dome. Yeah,
but we should be getting the direct feed from those mics. We're not sitting back and hearing echo. I mean, we're going right from those mics. How can you not pull that off?
And the broadcast was already, I think, 5-second delay on it?
Yeah.
And between delays and just, the sound of the room and, Ford Field was not built, I would assume, not built for music. It was built for football.
Not if you got the Lions. I don't know what they were thinking.
But they never. Every Super Bowl halftime show, they never figured out. That's why the pregame shows always sound better, because they have time to figure all that stuff out.
Here's Pete. Pete, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, Fezzy, what's up?
Yeah.
Did you guys notice on Start Me Up where he held back on the line, "Dead Man Come"? And he said, you could see him, he said he'll make a dead man, and then he looked around and didn't say it.
Now, they said they bleeped that, but that's nothing new from Mick, because 40 years ago, he changed the lyrics to get on the Ed Sullivan Show. He's always fucking sold out.
Yeah,
his name is Mick Sellout Jagger. That's a fucking carnival barker anyway. I mean, is there any feeling of danger about the Stones at all anymore? Or are you just seeing a good professional rock show?
I mean, what's the deal? Why did they have the Stones? Are they relevant at all in music right now? No.
They're the biggest fucking band in the world, my friend. They're the biggest tour in the world going on right now.
Yeah, but
so you can't beat that. You cannot beat the fact that anybody that goes out there after 40 years and they're still selling out stadiums, I don't blame the NFL for grabbing them, but they really didn't sound good yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blow that window to get the world's greatest rock and roll band. It's like when U2 did the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Everyone was like, sell out this. It's like, no, they're the biggest band in the world playing the biggest sporting event in the world. Why not? And they killed.
I don't know. To me, they didn't kill. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody kill at the Super Bowl. I can't think of any of those halftime shows where I went, wow, that was really amazing.
I'm always waiting for the second half to start. It takes so long.
Yeah. I'm always looking forward to it, whatever it happens to be. I'm like, man, this should be fun to have in the middle of the game, but it just never works out.
I almost missed the marching bands when they had the real colorful ones from the southern schools where they're just doing backflips.
How old are you? That you remember marching bands at halftime. Here's Hagar. Hagar, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, good afternoon, buddies, and Merry Black History Month to Earl.
Yeah, Earl, I hope you've been enjoying it.
I've been enjoying it thoroughly. Thank
you. Fez, I had thrown these guys an idea for Black History Month. Earl brings it up, do we still want to do that? I go, we're already 1 week into Black History Month. You missed your little window there. All right, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, by the way, I agree with Fez. I think Seattle should have ran out to like some Pearl Jam or Nirvana or something, man. That was
something.
lame.
I don't know whether they picked it themselves or the NFL forced them on it, but not the best song to come out to.
I agree. But commercial-wise, guys, the GoDaddy, the brunette with the big tits, love that one. I was wondering, what was your pick? What was your favorite?
For me, the GoDaddy didn't work at all. I mean, she had big tits, but they were covered up.
Yeah, I would like to see a nip or two. I don't know.
Yeah, all right. For me, I kind of like the cell phone thing being swung, and I like the magic refrigerator. Made me laugh. But I did not do a lot of laughing yesterday.
I like the AmeriQuest one where the guy's in the hospital and they're killing the fly with the defibrillator.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cute.
And his family walks in. They go, well, that killed him.
So does USA, I know AOL is doing the thing, but it doesn't come out for a couple of days of who picks the best. Did USA Today come out with theirs yet, Fez, or is that tomorrow?
Yeah, they got theirs already in. They do it the very next day.
They rank every single commercial?
Yeah, they do the 10 most popular, then the rest, which is the bulk of the commercial, and then the 5 least popular out of all of them.
For me, least popular, and I have no idea what it was doing on in the Super Bowl, was the little ugly girls, and they were fat, and they had crooked teeth, and they were saying, let's try to find new beauty. And I'm like, that's fucking mean.
That was my second favorite, right after AmeriQuest.
When you get into a thing where you're going, hey, she has inner beauty, and then you're showing a close-up of a fat girl, and she's underage in a bathing suit, you're like, sooner or later she's going to figure out she's not pretty.
They show this little dark Hispanic girl, and she wishes she was blonde. And it was all proceeds for the Self-Esteem Fund.
What is that? It sounds like something George Costanza gave money to.
The Human Fund. CampaignForRealBeauty.com was their website they were selling. And it seems like in a day of hurricane damage and everything, it seems weird to start this campaign, fund for self-esteem.
Well, they act like so many little girls are cutting themselves now or throwing up after every meal. I don't know. They act like it's a big deal. I have no idea.
So the very worst one, least popular according to USA Today, the Gillette Turbo, the razor that unveils the 5-blade system.
Well, 5 blades plus one more, my friend. There's a blade on the back.
The Fusion, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And they're showing that 3 blades is ridiculous.
Right.
You'll hack your face to death with that thing.
But don't you feel like trying the 5 blades?
Oh, yeah, I want to run one of those across me just to see what it feels like.
Isolate that, would you? Thank you. So that was the worst of the day.
Yeah, that was the least popular.
Give us all the least populars.
All right, before that was Slim Fast, the 4-hour hunger control. I don't even recall that one.
Yeah, it sounds like it's late in the show.
Overstock.com. That was late in the show. I remember that.
I lost it.
The GM Cadillac, their new Escalade truck, poses on the catwalk like it was a fashion model.
I hated that, yeah.
It came out of the liquid metal.
Yeah, I hated that. That was ridiculous.
And then the ESPN Mobile, the guy who's in sports heaven. He's like waiting for the bus.
Yeah, that kind of annoyed me too.
Yeah, with and then a dog sled will go by and a football player.
I felt like I saw that one a million times in my life already. Am I crazy, or did it seem like we got away from the sex, which we used to have, and we were into a bunch of people either falling down or getting hurt or hitting each other? It was just stupid.
It was nonstop violence. That one, the Budweiser one, where the girl's playing touch football with her friends and she just gets nailed.
Yeah, he lays her out.
Yeah, she gets speared out there.
Right. That had to be one of the more popular ones, though, right?
Let me see if that one, if I can find... let's see. Yeah, I think it might have been like number 10.
Because I did kind of laugh. It did kind of surprise me when he just tagged her. But you know what? It seemed like they just... Here's what I hate. They watched Wedding Crashers, so they go and kind of steal a gimmick from it.
Yeah, it was Michelob Ultra Amber, and it came in at 15th, Ronnie.
Yeah. Not too bad. Here's Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah.
I must be hooked on you guys, because the first thing I thought with that cell phone one was you throwing the pen at Fezzy.
Yeah, it was... I kind of felt like that was my gimmick, too. Like when I'll chuck a pen at Fez. Where did the throwing the cell phone at the guy come in, Fez?
I'm trying to find that one for Sprint. Let's see.
Earl, why don't we get somebody to help Fezzy while he's on the air here and pick out some of these? Hey, Troy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how's it going today?
Good.
Fezzy, if you pass on that bet, I'll never listen to you guys again. But my favorite commercial, I thought, was the two horses, the football horses, and then they had the sheep streaker.
I am so bored with the football horses. But here's the other thing, Troy. Now when you get to see just two cowboys watching, it's fucking Brokeback. At that time, you're like, look, two gay guys are sitting there watching the animals. How did the sheep streaker do, Fez?
Number 6.
Yeah. People, and that means that we're stuck with those bastards again next year.
Oh, next year we will see horses playing football again.
People love those things. I don't even think I liked back in the day. I don't think I've ever liked those.
I think last year their gimmick was the zebra as the referee.
Yeah.
Because he's in the black and white stripes.
Fernando, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but during the commercial they showed the players holding Lombardi Trophy, did you guys notice that it was almost all Pittsburgh players?
You know, it did seem, without a doubt, that it was slanted for Pittsburgh to win this. Not that I'm saying it was rigged, but I think in preference, they were the big story. And, of course, they're acting like, and this really fucking got to me. Well, we're only 240 miles from Pittsburgh, so that's a really big Pittsburgh crowd coming out here. You saying the only reason why the people from Seattle didn't show up is because they would have to take a flight instead of drive? Come on, you can't get fucking tickets. If you can get tickets to the Super Bowl, you would go if the son of a bitch was in Japan. They gave the tickets to a lot of pro-Pittsburgh people.
Yeah, that looked like the most biased crowd I've ever seen.
Yeah, I never remember that. Although I will say this, when Franco Harris came out and waved his little terrible towel and the place went crazy, that may have been the coolest moment of the whole night. Although everybody walking out there, nobody touches Joe Namath after all these years. We're almost fucking 40 years from Joe Namath. The man has a humpback, and he still looks like $1 million walking out there.
Yeah, the two new knees, and he just opens up the blazer and it just says Jets. And I was like, he's still the coolest guy on the field.
Fresh out of rehab, looking like $1 million, flipping that his brand new chip.
He ought to come out to the Nature Boy music, because that's what it's like. Ric Flair taking a football field.
He really is the Nature Boy of professional football. There is no doubt about it. He doesn't have the best record. He doesn't have the best this or that, but he's still the fucking king of the game.
He's still styling and profiling, limousine riding.
Who else were you glad to see coming out for the Walk of Shame, all the past MVPs?
I was glad to see Bart Starr looking so well.
Bart Starr, by the way, first man to walk on the moon, Bart Starr. He has turned in, he looks exactly like Neil Armstrong now. Frightening.
He's got the right stuff for football. And then, of course, Len Dawson looked great, too.
Len Dawson, it's been a while. He used to do the HBO show before they put him out to pasture. Here is Ross. Ross, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Fez.
Yeah.
How you doing, Earl?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Okay, the commercial with the fans in the stand, and they hold up them cards, and they made the beer bottle. Then they did the wave all the way around the stadium and filled up a glass.
I don't even remember that with you, Fez.
Yeah, it was on late, and, they try to make people think, oh, they've really coordinated the fans to pull this off, when it's computers doing this whole thing, and it came in at number 10.
How many commercials did Budweiser buy at $2.5 million? I mean, they had to have 10 commercials. I mean, they could have produced a Budweiser movie, put it out.
Yeah, they had, in the top 20, they had, 8 or 9 of them.
I don't know what you mean, top 20.
In the top 20 alone here? 8 or 9 are Bud or Budweiser.
Yeah, people loving the Budweiser commercials?
Yeah, very popular.
Yeah. Here is Jason. You're on Ron and Fez. Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, what about the Hummer HD commercial with the robot and dinosaur?
That one kind of grossed me out a little bit when the robot fucked a dinosaur and gave birth to a Hummer. I didn't get that at all.
That was number 23, Monster in Love with a Giant Robot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the monster got pregnant that you realized it was a girl monster.
Yeah, at that point it was Brokeback Monsters. Leading up to that that would have probably been funnier than one of them getting knocked up. Here's Sean. Sean, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, I miss Bet Welching Fez.
I miss Bet Welching Fez, too. I have a feeling once he finds out the tab on this, he's going to start welching. Fez, if you start to put this whole thing together, you're running up some real cash here.
Oh, yeah, because I got plane tickets to and from New York to Washington, D.C. before we even get to the Memphis trip.
I know.
Yeah, and hotel accommodations. I got a spring for a limo. Yeah, this is running up quite the tab. Maybe, in hindsight, I should have just shaved my head after that first bet.
That really is true. If you would have just shaved your head then, it would have grown back.
That I could have gotten for free.
What stopped you from shaving your head then?
You know what stopped me was the fact that it was my Bucks against his Redskins the very next week.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted, I thought, all right, here's a real showdown here. My team against his team. Then once I lost that one, I was just in too deep.
Yeah, it just got so ugly for you.
Yeah, then I just had to just keep struggling as further I sank.
Well, here's good news. I got an email from Don Wiki Wicklin.
Yes?
Taking us out to dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, very nice.
Earl, make reservations at Fat Cash Daddy-O's for us. Fat Cash Daddy-O's.
The place with the most expensive food in all of Manhattan?
Earl, are you writing down the name of a tattoo shop instead of fucking thinking to yourself?
No, I'm staying on top of things around.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm ordering a dessert up front just to make sure. And Fez is into a brand new, horrible health regime. So I had to go into my kitchen and eat my desserts and stuff so I wouldn't be in front of him.
Is that where you went?
Yeah, when I acted like I was eating that bland sponge cake with you.
All I can have now for desserts is angel food cake because it's no cholesterol and it's no sugar.
You know what? This will make you feel better, though. I did take an allergic reaction last night to those fucking peanuts. I can't eat peanuts anymore. Keep peanuts away from me, Earl.
Will do.
Although I can eat peanut butter. It's got to be some kind of oil in those peanuts.
Yeah, it must be. That was a heart-healthy mix, too.
Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't help if you're allergic to something. I didn't know that you could, get an allergy. I thought you were either born with them and that was it.
Yeah, I thought you were born with allergies and then could outgrow them, get away from them. Not the other way around where you grow into them.
I guess it's the gimmick where they say every cell in your body is different every 7 years or something. You got all new cells. It's all flipped around. So I guess somehow I got some fucking afraid of peanut cells. It's driving me crazy, though. What am I supposed to eat? No peanuts? That ain't going to happen. Here's Jeff. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, fellas,
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see the beer commercial that was just for drinkbeer.com? It was just a generic old beer commercial. Should have had a generic beer can in it, like in the Army or something.
I didn't see this at all.
Yeah, it was like I kept expecting it to be Budweiser or Michelob or something, and then it was just here's to beer.com. And it came in, I think, right about number 30, in the middle of the pack.
Look that up, Earl, like you're doing these other things, and find out what the hell they do there at here'stobeer.com. Aaron, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy?
You there?
We don't have you, pal. Let's move on to Andy. Andy, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Andy, go ahead, pal.
Hey, boys, how's it going?
Cool in the gang.
Well, I just started listening, so you probably already talked about it, but did you catch the infomercial that was on in the pregame, the birth control infomercial?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, they had a bunch of retards running around playing.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, they did have the retarded football, which, I got to tell you the truth, I found a little bit sloppy. Although they said, and this was in Westchester County, you could take that retarded football game team, and they would stay close with Seattle. They said offensively they couldn't put anything together. Defensively, they felt pretty good about themselves.
It was interesting to see retard football on TV, how it was playing out, because you could see all the mistakes in it.
Yeah.
Of telling these kids it's not who wins or loses, and not really getting them right from birth like we talked about.
Well, I'm going to tell you something else. I had a couple yards on Seattle in the game yesterday, but because of the officiating, Fez,
yeah,
I'm not paying off. It's just
really
doesn't seem worth it. I call my bookie and say, not with that game. No way. Go back and look at the tapes. By the way, I also thought Pittsburgh had a fumble that was never called, or even come back and look back by Madden. Madden, by the way, horrible fucking job of having the balls to stand up with some of the ref.
Yeah, and then he had his goodbye to ABC at the end of the show.
I'm tired of his goodbyes. I'm going to fucking see anyway. So let's not act like it's a big deal. It's like hearing from a drunk uncle when you know you're going to see him next weekend. Hey, Kevin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hello?
Yeah, buddy, go ahead.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Joe Montana not showing up? And also, I want to ask you, did you hear the fact, and maybe you guys would know, correct us if I'm wrong, no home team that plays in a dome stadium has won the Super Bowl yet?
Didn't the Rams win?
Yeah, the Rams did win.
They play in a dome, right?
At the time when they won?
Yeah.
The RCA Dome, isn't it? In
Yeah.
St. Louis?
Yeah, they didn't win when they were in L.A. They had to get into a dome before they could win.
All right.
So that's crazy stuff.
What
Joe Montana wasn't there. He was part of the commercials, and also I don't know what was up with him. The place would have went crazy for him. Now he's trying to figure this out. Had Bradshaw never won the MVP, or did he just choose not to show up?
Oh, maybe he just didn't show up.
You would have think Steelers, Bradshaw would have been there, but I don't know if he's ever won the MVP for a Super Bowl. I don't know.
Right. From the Steelers, they had Lynn Swann and Franco Harris.
Yeah. And both those guys had definitely won. No idea if anybody else was out there.
There's something else to put the staff on, Earl. See if
They're already on it.
Terry Bradshaw won an MVP.
But so far, we've asked 3 questions and haven't seen one thing back yet, Earl. Including one, just sent a person in here to help Fez. So I'm not feeling too optimistic about this. Hey, Rich, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie. So, you know, if you're allergic to peanuts and peanut butter, it's the oil. So what you do is you go buy some raw nuts, and then you just season them yourself and just roast them.
I just don't want to be the kind of guy roasting my own nuts at home. It's not going to happen
I'm just
for me.
telling you, man. You know, if you like peanuts, I mean, that's what you got to do.
Seems like a lot of work to do.
Rich, I'm not fighting with you. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man.
No,
I'm trying to help you out.
Let me help. Let me say something. I mean, if you're fucking roasting nuts, why not just put that in some Tupperware and ship it over here, and everybody ends a winner. I'd love to plug your place, but you know what? He's got a good point, because when I feel sick later, Fez, it's got like a fucking oily feeling about it. Like there's some kind of tainted oil in my life.
You just do not need that oil running in you.
I don't know what that means. Here's thebeer.com, all on the website, a history of beer, how to make beer, beer styles, how to pour beer, flavors of beer, sponsored by Beer Institute. How the hell do these people make their money? Do all the beer companies chip in together for this thing?
Yeah, I don't know where their Super Bowl ad money's coming from. Same with that GoDaddy.com, where they register domain names.
Right.
And in their commercial, they're saying you can register a website name for as little as $1.99.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many names are you signing up at this point to pay for those 2 or 3 commercials they had?
Well, you got, I think they do other things. They're kind of like a Google or one of those companies where that you find out information. Earl, look into GoDaddy. Find out everything they do.
He's already on it.
So one of the things that they do, Fezzi, you know, a lot of these things like Google, they'll get you in for one reason, but then they make their money on other reasons.
That's a gimmick.
Selling ad space or whatever that they have to do. Eric, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez, this is Eric. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, the only good thing coming out of the Super Bowl last night was that Hines Ward won the MVP. And secondly, I want to know what you guys thought about Bettis' timing on retirement. It's kind of taking the limelight from everybody else.
Well, you know what? I mean, the fact of the matter is if you last long enough and you go out with a big game and it happens to be right next to where you grew up, then it works in your favor. And you're a good guy. The fact of the matter is everybody has always liked Bettis. The reporters have liked him. Teammates have liked him. Opponents have liked him. He's one of those guys that he's always done the right things in the community, never fucked up. Everybody enjoys him. And who knows, he may not even retire. But it really did seem like everything lined up for this to be his game.
Yeah, he totally, everything was in his favor there at that point. Just,
right.
You know, it's like getting to the Super Bowl. I was hoping that would have been enough of the story for him.
Right.
And that would have been it. But he had by no means any sort of stellar game or anything yesterday.
Nobody had a stellar career. And we knew he was at the end of his career, and a lot of guys go out when they're really pretty much out of gas. And they would only put him in most of the season when they were way down in the red zone, like, 5 yards and below. So we expected him to kind of have the game that he had. I mean, it would have probably meant a lot to people if he would have scored a TD, but he didn't. But he did pick up the ring. But at the end of your career and you're fifth of all time, you expect the guy to go out large.
It's amazing. He could either go out this way or it could have ended in Indianapolis with that fumble.
Right. But more or less, either way, no matter what happens to him, the guy was loved, and that's why they went extra for him. Hey, Vito, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies? 15240, checking in.
Old school.
Hoo-ah! All right, listen, these two jerk-offs, Bradshaw and Montana, didn't show up to the fucking Super Bowl because they weren't paid enough fucking money. In my opinion, you're going to do a fucking commercial, Montana. You need to show some respect to.
How do you know what reason he gave?
They just read it on the sports radio in New York.
All right, so what? They expected to be paid to show up? Was that it?
Well, what happened was all these Hall of Famers, they got 2 tickets to the commissioner's party, they got 2 tickets to Saturday night's party, 2 tickets to the game, a Cadillac for the weekend, and they were getting paid to do some personal appearances. And these two guys didn't think it was enough money for them.
All right, we'll see. Thank you very much. Bradshaw did win, too, Fezzi, in the final 2 years of the run of the Steelers. And Montana, of course, had 3 MVPs. Boy, the interns are on it today. We got a crack young staff moving for us.
So that's a chunk of MVPs right there.
Yeah, 5 years worth.
That didn't show.
5 years out of the 40. Here's John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
BAC 665 checking in.
Old school. A lot of old school today, Earl. A lot of old school. What can we do for you, buddy?
I was just checking in. You guys notice that at the end of the game, Cowher was escorted out to midfield, and he's looking left and right, and you're kind of expecting Holmgren to come out and shake his hand, but he's nowhere to be found?
I missed that. Holmgren didn't go across and shake his hand?
I didn't see a handshake. You usually see it at the end.
Holmgren had himself in a fucking pitch because of the officiating. It happened to him in the first half, and it looked like, and when people are going, hey, even with this play and that, once something takes your shit out of the game, you know what I mean? You're in fucking trouble after that. And, you and me both have busted Bill Cowher's balls in the past, Fezzi, but you got to give him credit for this. When he realized his quarterback wasn't working, he made some adjustments. Randall L. throws fucking long, not Big Ben. They started to put the ball on the ground. And I thought it was going to be just the opposite. I thought Holmgren was going to outcoach Cowher. Cowher was the best coach in that game.
Yeah, and even in situations like 3rd and long, he would still have Roethlisberger run the ball, instead of passing it. He'd still hand it off. Just couldn't trust him after those picks.
Something wasn't working, whether it was his thumb or whatever. But when you realize that the game plan isn't working, you fucking adjust. That's what a coach is supposed to do. Now, Fez, we're talking about the commercials. Here's one that I didn't like, and I don't even know if it shows up because it was a promo for an ABC show. But when they said, you might as well face it, you're addicted to loss. I don't know. I mean, Robert Palmer is already dead, so it's not like he sold the fucking song out. So somebody had to go back and recut that, and they even used his face in it.
That was the weirdest. You could have shown all that lost footage with your parody and not dragged Robert Palmer's dead body into it. So that was the most uneasy part of that whole thing.
Somebody has to get paid for that, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Somebody sold that from his estate or his family, whatever.
Yeah, because I know they've done stuff before where they'll just have Bogart or John Wayne selling fucking mops. It's always uncomfortable. Earl, who do you think has sold the most songs to commercials? I was thinking about that yesterday when it took that Jessica Simpson no time to go and sell her hit right back into a pizza commercial, selling which looks like a disgusting pizza to me.
Yeah, she sells her, these boots are made for walking, to these bites are made for eating or popping.
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 Or she says popping. She couldn't say popping properly. These boots are made for popping. I hear what they do. Who would you say, Earl, sold the most? I'm thinking maybe The Who.
That was going to be my guess. Definitely The Who.
Although I know they say Moby sold out that entire play CD. Everything, not one song got radio play on that. So he said, fuck it, let's sell it to movies and commercials. He sold out every single song, went to somebody, and he sold 10 million copies.
I would also say Sting.
Sting has sold quite a bit. The Beach Boys, for me, seem like they've sold quite a bit.
That's what I would have guessed. The Beach Boys with that Good Vibrations for the Sunkissed soda. They just had a Christmas commercial on with the Coca-Cola and the polar bears.
Yeah. There's quite a few of those out there.
Cher seems to. She does like a lot of diet things where her songs end up on them.
With her in it, you mean?
No, just her songs.
Just her tunes.
Yeah, like Jenny Craig and stuff.
You'd also have to throw in a lot of hip-hop because the songs...
Yeah, they've got no problem selling out the
Yeah.
hip-hop crew.
Especially in
By the way,
soda.
what did you think of the Diet Pepsi spots?
Awful. I am just like, when has Diddy been relevant? Why is he still relevant?
And yet he's loved now by housewives instead of kids. He has somehow made that move like Imus, where he is loved by the older people in no time at all.
Yeah, remember he did. I think he did Martha Stewart once, and that's when he really got over,
right?
With the housewives and everything. But I'm sitting there going, why is Diddy still selling anything?
Why you call him Diddy? How come we have to adjust every time this fucker changes his name?
And he's done it again.
Yeah,
it's just easy to remember.
I know, but you said that before when it was P. Diddy and then Puff Daddy. Whatever it is, you make the adjustment, and everybody does. Like we're somehow a part of this.
I like that. Oh, this guy, he's Sean Combs, he's Sean Puffy Combs, Puff Daddy. I was like, whatever. Just give me something that's short and easy to remember.
All right, I just got this handed, Fezzy, that GoDaddy really only registers the domain names, like you said, for cash. That's their only way to make cash. Yeah, you're right. There's something crazy about that story.
It's like a front company or something.
I thought you could go on there and then they tell you how to buy cars, or you know how like all those websites do that, where you go clicking things, but then you find out you've been sent into an ad.
So at $1.99 a pop for a domain name, that's expensive.
That's an expensive commercial for them to be able to put that together. Yeah, very good point. Here is Bad Cell Phone. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
I'm going to go double old school on you. A Maha Bone and big-ass card number 10513.
Thanks for them both, bro.
All right. There's a reason why Bradshaw wasn't there. The game was on ABC. He is property of Fox. Fox is not going to allow him to go on that broadcast at all.
Well,
if I was Fox, I would have no problem with it at all.
And Troy Aikman was there.
Yeah.
I definitely think that had to have been it.
But why is Troy Aikman there?
That's a good.
That's the mystery.
question.
Now that's become the mystery. All right, my brother. Thank you very much.
Investigate that bad cell phone.
866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ.
And also Aikman was there because he got elected to the Hall of Fame, so he had to do all the Hall of Fame promotions, too.
All the Hall of Famers had to be there, too?
Yeah, they were all there, too. That was part of the weekend.
How bad did you feel for Tom Brady walking out like he's the old man, the grand old man of pro football, walking out to do the fucking coin toss? It was just unbelievable.
And I think he got roundly booed, too. So
well, why wouldn't he?
And he just came
out. Mean, he's still current. He can hurt you.
It was just so odd just seeing him come out, and he had that look like, I really don't want to be here.
It didn't make sense. I wouldn't even would have wanted to go to the game if I was him.
Yeah, for the past 3 out of 4 years, he's standing in that exact same spot, but in a uniform and calling heads or tails.
It was just so awkward just seeing him in street clothes. Like he was 106 years old or something. Usually they reserve that for a retired guy.
Hey, Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, that GoDaddy thing, the way they make all their money is advertising spots on their website.
That's what I just tried to say a little while ago, but I had an attractive young man come in and hand me a paper saying that wasn't true. I've never been there. Have you, Fez?
No, I've never checked out the GoDaddy.com.
Because it seems like it's going to be a pedophile site. When you see the GoDaddy, it's like, I don't want this fucking traced back to me at all. You're not going to be able to say, hey, I saw the commercial on TV. I went there, and then there was an 11-year-old doing a fucking spread eagle.
All I wanted to do was register a domain name.
That's it. Now I'm fucking locked up like an animal? I don't need this. I don't need this at all. James, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I'm a black guy calling in from Newark out in Jersey. I don't know much about the Stones, but maybe it's a Black History Month thing. Who the hell was the black guy on stage with the Stones?
That was Bill Wyman. Something happened to him in the last couple of years where he turned black. What's the name of that player that was with them last night, Earl?
Daryl Jones.
And he's touring with them all the time now?
He's been with them since '94.
Can we get him on a Black History Month stand?
Yeah.
He's been there for a while. He's played with Sting, he's played with Miles Davis. He's played with some heavyweights.
Right.
See, they're hiding our history.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, Earl, I have a feeling, though, he's being paid by the hour. I got a feeling that they're fucking selling out these giant stadiums over and over, and he's looking at the paycheck going, I can't fucking believe this shit at all. Because those Stones, I have a feeling, pay like Bowie. They just are in no hurry to share.
Well, the thing is, every time they do a video, they'll show everybody but him. He's never in any of the videos.
Right.
Every time there's a band performance, like a band performance video, he's not even in the video. He's just sort of the hired.
Well, who was the keyboard player that was with him for so many years? Keys? Is that his name?
Bobby Keys is a sax player. He's been there
forever.
He's been there since like '72. Guy who played last night, Chuck Leavell, he's played with everybody. He was
But who's the piano player that played with the Stones for a million fucking years?
Ian Stewart.
Ian Stewart since like the 60s, right?
Yeah, he was actually one of the guys that helped form the band, but they said he was too normal looking.
Too ugly, let's face it. He was too ugly in an unugly way. Hey, Adam, you're on Ron and Fez. How you doing, Adam?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
What do you got, buddy?
Well, wanted to say, I think the reason Bradshaw wasn't there is because he still hates Pittsburgh, and they don't think much of him either.
Well, here's the thing.
He didn't want to go anywhere near that situation with them in the Super Bowl.
We all hate Pittsburgh, but still you'd show up for the Super Bowl. You do not let that stop you from showing up at the Super Bowl. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Fez's long year of losing football bets is over. Elfish went on a tear, Fezzy, like nobody in the history of betting. I mean, Matthew McConaughey didn't do that fucking well when Al Pacino grabbed him and tried to put him in the big time.
Yeah, you would have to think if Elfish put any kind of money on this, other than doing hair bets back and forth with me, that, he'd be a rich drunkard right now.
And people have actually said to me, hey, man, is this like a bit for the show? The Fez just picks his bet? I go, if he could pick the loser, then he could pick the winner. It would be that simple. So we wouldn't even be doing a show. We would just bet the opposite of Fez forever. I can't believe how bad you did betting this year.
Yeah, with just the Elfish stuff alone, I was trying to think about it. Mm-hmm. With the original bet, the Redskins running the table, that's 5 games there. So Elfish went 8-1 on me.
Now you also, and then you had a terrible season because we were busting your balls long before the Elfish bets came down. So the beauty of it is, worst season ever. I bet that, and you consider yourself a man who knows college football and pro football.
Yeah.
You don't just watch the games, you read about them, you're part of that stupid constant thing where you're looking for every little edge. I bet we could take you now, have you bet on a sport you know nothing about, basketball, and you would do better just because it would be the luck of 50-50.
That would be interesting, just to try that.
But we're not going to.
Damn.
Because you talking about betting on the air is poison for this team. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about tomorrow with Don Wiki Wicklund. Where do you want to go to eat, Fez?
Oh, I'm trying to think. It's been a while since we've gone to a Lane's. That's always good.
Yeah, Lane's is always good. Wouldn't mind going downtown either, though. Maybe I need a Zagat's by the end of the show and just sit here and stare at it. Come up with something really nice. Maybe Mario. Fucking Molten Mario might be the angle for me. Here's Charlie. Charlie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, guys. Did you see the Disney commercials with I'm going to Disneyland, I'm going to Disneyland?
Yeah.
And then they show Phil Simms, and he's wearing a green jersey.
I didn't even notice that, but I guess you're not allowed to wear your actual football jersey when you're in these commercials.
Because they were wearing, like, the Steelers pants, and, they had a lot of stuff, but it was just really strange.
What they try to do is kind of look something like it, but there's no name on it or whatever.
So there's no paying the NFL. That expense is out of there.
Right.
Okay.
And then, the NFL owns their own logo, so, they may or may not want their stuff in there. But I don't know what happened with that. I didn't even jump out at me that Sims had on a green shirt.
Yeah, it worked for me, because I didn't notice the difference in the color, that he wasn't wearing a Giants blue.
Now, did the guy actually say, I'm going to Disneyland at the end? Because I didn't see it happen.
No, I didn't see that one either.
Yet they pushed that whole gimmick leading up to it.
I think last year they stopped doing that.
So why do a commercial and show it twice with the I'm going to Disney World phrase?
Yeah,
putting it out there.
It makes no sense. They're just trying to tug on our heartstrings.
Anybody see The View today and see if Elizabeth Hasselbeck was sad or happy about her brother-in-law?
Did not check it out, but
nobody did.
Hopefully she's sad.
The only person I know that watches The View is Elfish. Hey, Sally, you're on Ron and Fez. Sally. Hello?
Is it Ron and Fez?
It sure is.
I talked to Ron.
I'm right here. How are you, Sally?
Ron, Sally's on the line for you.
Yes, I got it, Fez. Thank you. What can we do for you, honey? This is about a DNA thing. Hold on, Sally. Earl, if this is about a DNA thing, let me get some of your DNA.
Sure.
Because the last thing I want is, another outside baby. I am running up the fucking tab on that. Oh.
This is going to take you, I think, into the mid-20s.
Right. I mean, there's nothing worse than some kid you don't know calling you dad. It's uncomfortable. And when you have to do that, when they do that, well, why didn't you stay with my mom? And, you can't say, have you seen your mom? She's sloppy. She's kind of hoarse. You can't get into that with a kid. So you got to make something up. I normally say, because I was a war hero. Or CIA.
They usually work?
No. It's never once worked. Nothing works.
Yeah, they could call you every dirty name in the book, but I think that word dad really strikes at the heart of someone.
Well, even occasionally, when I'm leaving, I give them that fake phone number. And part of me feels like I really wish I could stay in touch. I wish I could. I just try to throw money at them. It's the only way to do. Anyway, what are you going to do? Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy. Hey, you guys were talking about the I'm going to Disney promotion.
Yeah.
That did air on ESPN this morning with Hines Ward. And, they asked him, you just won MVP, what are you doing? And, of course, he said, I'm going to Disney. And then Jerome Bettis was beside him. He said, I'm taking the bus. So it did air.
And was it a game last night?
No, it was this morning on ESPN. They aired the commercial.
I see. Because they used to do the whole gimmick of right at the end of the game while the game was actually still on.
Exactly. I think they got away from that, but they, like I said, they did air it this morning. I don't know why they got away from the original. But
here's the problem, that when you say I'm going to Disney World, you actually have to go. You got to go down there and be in a parade. So you're not just getting money to say that, hey, I'm going to Disney. Then you got to show up.
Yeah, they and then they put you on the teacups or something else. They like to see they have you skipping through the park with Tigger or something like that.
White people are so scared of black people.
A lot of them are Tiggers, Fezzy, so just leave it at that.
Tigger.
White people are so scared of black people.
They also get a lifetime.
Earl, first of all, can I apologize for Fez?
Yes.
He's from
I accept the apology.
He's from the dirty South, Pinellas Park, Florida, where they got 14 inches of rain dropped on them the other day. 14 inches in one rain. So what were you going to say, Earl?
He also gets a lifetime pass to the park as well.
Who wants that?
How often are you going to go?
Then you got to go back. Yeah, unless you live next door like Paul O does with Busch Gardens. Who gives a shit? Hey, Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what the hell was that Harrison Ford, Dr. Zeus NFL shit before the game?
I don't know. It was just a way of cutting out Hank Williams Jr., so I was all in favor of it. Anytime I don't see Hank Williams Jr. doing a, are you ready for football? It's just too fucking annoying. Hey, Doug, you're on the air.
Yeah, of course they said they were going to Disney on ESPN this morning. Hell, Disney owns ESPN.
Well, they own ABC, too, and I didn't see him say it last night.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it in the moment either. I wouldn't give a shit about Disney if I was in the moment.
Well, you get paid for it, but that happens...
Well, shit, I want the Escalade and the fucking money.
That's what you get for saying you're going to Disney.
Yeah, I think you get like $1 million too from Disney.
Oh, I don't think it's $1 million. $1 million is a little high end, my friend.
$1 million plus a free lifetime pass? That's too much. Too much.
You get $1 million if you're showing up on that lifetime pass every single day. Hey, Carlos, you're Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was calling to say that actually they did say it at the end of the game. Hines Ward, when he was hoisting up the trophy and had his daughter in one arm, actually said they were pulling the mic away, so it didn't come out all that loud, but he said, I'm going to Disneyland.
Disney's got to just shoot a prick on that one.
Yeah, somebody's going, I can't believe this. I cannot believe. You know, I couldn't even watch any of the post-game stuff last night. Just wasn't interested. Just not one of the big Super Bowls. Now, the Super Bowl ratings were down from last year, but from what I saw in the Drudge Report, it did like an 85 share in Pittsburgh. It's a pretty massive number to do.
So every Yinzer had it on their television set.
Well, only 15% of the people didn't have it at all. Now, the year Tampa went to the Super Bowl, they did a 31 share. So that lets you know the difference between football towns, Fez. And then even when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, during their parade, there was only 100,000 people that showed up, which is really not that much more, only about another 25% more than the stadium.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, much more of a baseball town.
Is that right? But why do you think they didn't get the big push like that, Fez? When you see what, some of the other towns look like, is it because it's a smaller area, or they just not that into it?
Yeah, I think it's a smaller area and fairly new where the Bucs have been successful. I think if you had a better history like Pittsburgh had, I think you probably would have had a better showing in Tampa.
You can't get any more successful than the Super Bowl. You're not going to get any bigger than that. If you can't get these people to hop on board for the Super Bowl, I don't know what the fuck you do. You got to just start throwing cash out. Here is Alex. Alex, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to ESPN radio yesterday, and apparently Sports Illustrated was selling a Steelers championship package before the game even started. They did not have one for the Seahawks. So I think the game was fixed, and Fez shouldn't have to pay up.
I know I'm not paying off my bet, Fezzy. I'm not going to pay off a bet like that.
No, there's something seriously wrong with that.
Those calls were just disgraceful yesterday.
All right, here is a email we got. This is from Danks. The Stones are not sellouts. The network bleeped them with the 5-second delay. Get your facts straight. You lost a listener. I'm going to tell you a fucking story right here. Back in the 60s, when people were supposed to be revolting against society and a revolution was taking place, the Stones went on the Ed Sullivan Show to sing, "Let's Spend the Night Together." Big Ed said, no, that's a dirty thing. You can't do that. Mick Jagger, the little Prince of Darkness, the little wild boy, goes on stage and sings, "Let's Spend Some Time Together." Actually changes his lyrics so the man would be happy. Is that a true story, Earl?
Absolutely true. And as he sung it, he was rolling his eyes. And apparently Keith was furious at him for good reason. His attitude was like, screw him.
Yeah, fuck it. Or do the Doors gimmick and just say whatever you want. Or start singing, "Let's Spend Some Cock Together," and point at your own balls. So, thanks. Not only have we lost a listener, you've lost the radio show.
Oh, no.
Anyone who doesn't know their rock history cannot listen to the show. As a matter of fact, I want everybody to turn this show off today. I'm so disgusted about Elfish coming on. I don't want anybody listening when Elfish gets here. Now, is he getting here tomorrow, Fez?
I think it's like Thursday. I believe that's when it was set up.
So Thursday he's here. Friday you're getting the head shaved.
Right.
Getting on a plane Friday night?
If logistically that can happen, yes. So I don't know if, flight schedules and stuff like that.
Well, if it can't happen, why would he be coming up?
Well, to get that first part of it just out of the way.
Oh, my God. This is going to be a two-part thing.
And then I may just have to fly to Washington, meet him there, and fly to Memphis with him and his mother.
This is the biggest nightmare I ever heard. By the way, I was told you can't fly directly to Memphis. It's not that big of a town.
I was wondering about that. So this is just going to be puddle jumpers galore for me.
You'll be going Chicago, Akron, Memphis.
There is no way my heart is living through any of this. There's no way it's going to be able to stand up to this pressure.
Walt, you're Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey, speaking of the Stones, hey, Ron, do you remember Altamont's, that concert at Altamont Speedway and what Mick Jagger did there?
What do you mean what he did there?
He hired that motorcycle club as
The Hells Angels, yes. Who's fighting and what for? Who's fighting and what for? So what's your point?
Well, Mick Jagger turned around and snitched on him when all the heat came down.
Yeah, he did. I didn't remember he fucking hid from Sonny Barger for 30 years.
He sure did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
All right.
All right, brother.
Good one, Walt.
But I will give him this. This is a fucking great song. We're going to Disney World, Keith. I wish Keith Richards would just change his name to Keith. Hey, lost you. Here's Jesse. Jesse, you're on Ron and Fez.
Jesse.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What version is that song, Earl?
Rock and Roll Circus.
It's fucking awful. Hey, what can we do for you, buddy?
What's up, buddies? Listen, the reason why they don't promote that whole going to Disney World shit is back when Baltimore won the Super Bowl, they gave the MVP to Ray Lewis, and he did the I'm going to Disney World thing, and they got a bunch of crap because of that whole murder trial.
No, absolutely not true. They did not offer that to him.
Trent Dilfer did it that year.
Yeah, even though he wasn't the MVP.
Well, I know, I understand what you're saying, but
and was cut from the team the next day.
He was actually called by Disney the white MVP, which probably not the best idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that. I read a thing from I don't remember the exact year. It was the year that Baltimore won it when they stopped doing it.
The year of the cat.
I automatically assumed, the year of the cat.
Right.
Automatically assumed that was why, and that's my fault.
All right, see you later. Yeah, you made a gigantic mistake. You've just lost the radio show. You and Jenks, JRD at AOL. You lost a listener. I love when anyone loves a band so much they can't hear anything. Here is Lee. Lee, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Lee.
How are you?
Hey. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
I want to just say something. You know, remember when I'm a professional musician. I've been struggling to make it all my life, okay?
Congratulations. Well, Fez has a radio show, so you're even.
Yeah, I know, but you know when you're struggling to make it, and I mean, come on, that was the Ed Sullivan show.
Yeah.
If he told me to cut my cock off and stick it up my ass, I would have done it to be on that show.
I would have tuned in that night.
That would have been I'd have rather seen that than let's spend some time together.
Yeah,
Senior Wentz is shoving it up your ass.
But not everybody kisses the corporate ass. That's all we're saying.
But you know, you're trying to look what happened. Okay, he compromised then. Now he's one of the richest people in the world. So
hey,
you know.
Yes, that's what you get for compromise. You get money. No one says that you don't.
I wish it worked for me because it hasn't.
Yeah, but they have talent. You know,
I know they do.
But that's why it didn't work for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. See you later, curtain boy. You fucking yank that curtain back for everybody.
I remember Dylan never did the Ed Sullivan show because of a song they wanted him to. They didn't want him to do a certain song. He goes, you know what? I'd rather do this song. I think it was Talking John Birch's Blues.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you know what? Don't want to do it. He never did Sullivan, ever.
Good. I'm on Ed's side for that because I can't have him do. He's got so many hits. Now he wants to go out and do Talking John Burke Blues. That's fucking crazy.
No, that was like the big controversial song at the time, and they were like, well, do the song, but you got to change this, this, and this. And he was like, well, you're taking the whole sting out of the thing.
But if you go by that last guy, right, and he goes, look, you got to do it for money. Yes, you're right. That's why you do compromise for money. And everybody does. The point is, don't act like you're fucking, you know, the rebel band, which is what they're supposed to be to the Beatles. The whole point was supposed to be the Beatles were the good guys, the Stones were the bad guys.
True, absolutely.
You know, there's certain bands you don't expect that out of. You don't expect it out of the Clash. You never expect them to sell out. Other people you expect to sell out immediately, like Jessica Simpson. Is that where you want to fucking be? Just going, hey, we're getting money, so we're going to act like we're selling pizza fucking bits on TV. These are delicious.
These pizza rolls are made for popping.
They all popping people pizza rolls.
I'm sorry, we can't understand him, and he has to get our product right.
Here's Gary. Gary, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, first-time listener, I love your show.
It is good.
Make a comment about that. I just want to make a comment about the Rolling Stones. The first time I saw the Stones, I was 8 years old. It was on the Ed Sullivan Show. I've seen them in concert 6 times. Arguably the best rock and roll band of all time. They can play 4 fucking hours, and you play a hit every song. But you know what? Mick Jagger is the ultimate sellout. He went to the London School of Economics, and that is all he has ever been about is money. But hey, I don't really give a shit. I love the rock and roll.
Mick Jagger is an absolute professional. There's nothing about him that is not professional.
Hey, the guy's a money-making machine.
Right.
And hey, I'm an American. Goddamn, that's a good thing. You know? What else do we fucking do here but make money and a few cars? You know, nothing else is fucking made here.
Thank you very much. At the same time, you got to remember they were the band that did Street Fighting Man and all, and it seemed like they believed in it at the time. It looked like in the 60s they believed something, and in the 70s they got fucking high as kites and they were fucking up, and then by the 80s they just go, well, you know what? How do we make money? How do we keep this whole thing together? And that's what they've fallen into ever since. No one said it's such an awful thing, but it is who they are. Here's Daniel. Daniel, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Buddy.
Hey, just want to say, I think the Rolling Stones fucking sucked, and I don't understand why it's an American sport. Football's an American sport, and they put some fucking band that's from some other country instead of putting an American band on an American fucking game.
Here's what they're looking for. They're looking for the biggest and best acts that they can have every single year. And if you're looking at the biggest things in rock and roll, most of the time, you're going to go to England. If you looked at the biggest bands of all time, they're not American
Detroit
bands.
Music City?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. I agree with you 100%, and we talked about that last week. But if you were going with the biggest bands of all time, you'd go Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
The Who.
The Who. So we're already up to 5 bands before you could even start to bring in any American groups. And who would be the big American band like that? Fucking Eagles? That's nothing to be proud of. I'd rather see the Philadelphia Eagles come out and do a concert. I'd rather see Donovan McNabb sing some of his hits before I watch Tom Henley sing.
Throwing his chunky soup, Mom, on backups.
Who would you pick, Fezzy? And I'm not talking about Michael Jackson or Elvis. I'm saying rock and roll bands. Who would it be?
Beach Boys?
Thank you. That's fucking embarrassing if it's the Beach Boys.
Off the top of my head, I would say either Creedence or Aerosmith.
And not even involved with those, not even as big as those. Because even after those English bands, you throw in U2, which we've never had anybody as big as U2.
Even like the current bands, like the biggest bands are like Radiohead and...
Right. Very good point. Good point again, Earl. You're on top of it. I mean, if anything, I might say the Doors.
Maybe
and they didn't even last that long. They were only 4 years. Maybe Metallica. As far as being a giant band that could... What are you making faces for over there? Metallica sells out fucking stadiums. Don't act like they don't. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at your goddamn sidekick. Making faces at me.
No, I mean, even...
You tell me Metallica doesn't sell fucking stadiums? Because I was there. I was at Monsters of Rock.
What, Van Halen? Maybe.
What year is this, though?
I know.
Take a look around. Early Van Halen... Yeah, and they're not even in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's where we are in this country.
I mean, even off the top of my head again, a GNR or Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam was the last American band that had any heat.
Is that right?
Probably, yeah. Like real, substantial, long-term.
Gigantic mainstream
heat.
You can't even keep fucking rock and roll stations in New York City anymore. It's not like rock is big over here. Don't act like it is. Here's Diesel. Diesel, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yo, what's going on, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Big Ass Guard Holder 13747.
Way to go, old school, brother.
Hoo-ah! So my buddy of mine is a huge, huge Rolling Stones fan, and you know when you're a big fan of bands and stuff like that, you become kind of obsessed over the band. You start researching, you know, things that they do in their spare time. He found out through some awkward publication that Mick Jagger has a bad hooker habit. Not as bad as Norton's. He doesn't, you know, have them piss on her or anything like that. But what he does is he beats the shit out of the hooker and throws her down a flight of stairs. He pays for their medical bills and everything like that, but he just gets off on the fact that he can beat the crap out of somebody.
First of all, Mick's 110 pounds. He can't beat up any hooker. And second of all, that's just the urban legend shit. I'm sure he's been with hookers, but I'm sure he's not throwing them down steps.
The stuff people are trying to get past us today.
Yeah. Sean, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, doesn't Jimi Hendrix count as an American at all?
No, he's not a band. We're just talking about rock and roll bands. I already said you take the singles out of it. You take the Elvis out of it. You take the Michael Jackson out of it. And just talk about rock and roll bands. Here's Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, fellas? They
Hey,
should have
buddy.
Kiss on there. Detroit Rock City.
You know what? You come up with a good point. Kiss may be one of the biggest American bands ever, and we can all cringe to that together. Everybody but Eddie Trunk can sit here and be embarrassed over that fact.
He'll raise that flag.
Did you say flag or?
Flag, yeah.
Good.
With an L.
I didn't know where you were going with it. I had no idea where you were going with it. I didn't realize we went so long. We got to take a break here. Back in a few moments, Ron and Fez Show.
Ron and Fez, XM 202.
Yeah, it's the Ron and Fez Show. Day after the Super Bowl. Fez Whatley loses again. No surprise there, but the big surprise seems to be you're going to pay it off this time, Fez?
I am going to pay it off this time.
You know we got a Pro Bowl. And we got the Grammys. You ought to double down on the Grammys.
The Grammys would be nice this Wednesday. Let me take Kanye West in the Grammys.
You will lose to Mariah Carey. You just ruined poor Kanye's whole fucking gig.
If I did the Pro Bowl, I would only do it if I could take the AFC, because that's when Peyton Manning decides to light up the scoreboard.
You know, I know.
Always got the Pro Bowl, man. Always got the Pro Bowl.
All right, hold on, brother. Let me set this up. Hey, Fez, we were talking earlier, and a caller got angry about the fact, what are the Stones doing working halftime? They're not even an American band. I said, if you're the NFL, you would try to get the biggest band that you can every year, and you're not going to get any bigger than the Rolling Stones. They are as big as you can possibly get in the history of rock and roll. I mean, when he was actually saying last night, this is from Super Bowl I, and he played Satisfaction, that's the fucking truth. And that's 40 years ago this year. And those guys are still out touring, still selling out stadiums. But we went through Beatles, Stones, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, U2. You're getting pretty far deep into it before you even get into the biggest American rock and roll band, and we're not even sure who that would be. Who do you got for us, Oliver?
Well, man, I'm not the same. I tried to get into the Dead, man, no matter how much acid or how many times I rolled around in the mud with an overgrown fur burger, man. I just couldn't get into it.
All right, here's what you could say. The Grateful Dead always toured a lot, and they would play gigantic shows, Fezzi, where there would be 60, 70,000 people. Then they would go to the next town, and they would play for 60, 70,000 people. The problem is, it was the same 60, 70,000 people who would get in their fucking cars and follow them. There weren't that many fans in each place. That's why the albums didn't sell as much.
Yeah, I have a problem with hygiene, too, so I couldn't get in that.
Whatever.
I'm going to have to say, man, the Allman Brothers Band. Musicianship, songwriting, man, that's got to be it. Anytime they roll up to New York, man, I'll hook you up, man. I got an in through there.
Well, first of all, it's not new for me to see the Allman Brothers. Second, it was only when Dwayne was alive that you could argue that they were the biggest band in the world. After he died, and you know what, here's really weird, and I know you don't know this, Earl, the Allman Brothers aren't big everywhere in the United States. They're big in the Northeast, they're kind of big on the West Coast. Oddly enough, they're not all that big in the South. They don't ever play big places in the South.
See, considering that they're from there, I thought that would be the biggest fan base.
Most of the time, the real rock stations didn't start in the South until a little after that. So most of the rock stations aren't as old as, YSP and NEW and stuff like that. Down south, they kind of started with Skinner. Most of those people think that Skinner was the first rock band that was kind of big Southern rock band. Eric, you're on Ron and Fez.
I'd have to say Bruce Springsteen and E Street Band.
All right, now we're into an interesting thing here. Is Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, is that a solo act or is it a band?
No, I'd say the band definitely blows the solo act.
I think it's a solo act.
Here's the problem. When he tours as a solo act, plays small places. When he had his albums as a solo act, never really played as big. He got back with the E Street Band, started playing gigantic places overnight. Earl,
14 nights in a row.
Yeah, Earl, what's your feeling on that one?
Well, the whole deal is that every Springsteen record, I think with the exception of the live record, was always credited to Bruce alone. And when he went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he went in as a solo artist. They didn't give it to the E Street Band, even though...
Is that right?
Yes. That's when he fired the band a couple of years ago.
Right.
I was like, how could he fire the band? He played on... I was like, name any record that had both his and the band's name on it. There's only one. It was a live record.
Born to Run doesn't say Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on it.
None of them do. None of the studio records say it.
Wow. All right, here comes East Side Dave into the fucking studio again. It's unbelievable. All right, Dave, come running in here. Give your opinion.
No.
What is it?
I was gonna run to look for it on my computer by my hot dog stand outside where I work, but Earl's completely wrong. As a Bruce Springsteen fan, I'm almost positive that Bruce Springsteen.
When we got in, you heard the conversation we were having, right?
Yes. E Street Band. That was on Born to Run. And
I thought it was, but I may be wrong.
And it was on the River. It was definitely on the River, and it was surely on Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Check any album cover; it'll say Bruce Springsteen. It'll have credits on the back.
Wrong. And the E Street Band on.
But it'll never. It
Born
never
to
said.
Run. Darkness on the Edge of Town.
On the cover.
On the fucking cover.
All right, let's look this up.
If you're wrong, you're taking Elfish to Memphis.
I'll look. Do you want me to?
All right, but do you see Bruce as the E Street Band? Are they a band, or is he a solo artist with some backups?
I see it as a band when he's playing when he's with the E Street Band,
right?
Because he sees it as a band. He actually said in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it shouldn't be. I never looked at it as Bruce Springsteen, and it's just.
But you would be
band.
able to say, "Oh wait, if you're nominating me, we want to go in as a band, not as a solo artist." They would not have a problem with him saying that.
No, I think actually a couple of band members were a little bit perturbed that Bruce went in solo.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I don't believe in what Bruce is saying. Like, hey, I've never seen it that way.
Right.
Here is. So I want you to grab some albums and look that up. If we have to send someone down the street. All right, what do we got? You don't have it or no?
Look at
that. Getting a printout of the Born and Run album cover, which has.
But also,
all right, hold on, we'll wait for it. Hey, Brian, you're on Ron and Fez. Get us every album cover you can. There's Brian. Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, you're talking about American bands with heat now. As far as modern stuff goes, Green Day might not be selling out stadiums or anything yet, but they definitely got the chops to do it.
Yeah, you're completely right. Green Day's a massive band. Massive appeal band right now. So you were wrong about that, Earl. Here, but although you can't compare them with the other. Here's the Born to Run album. Just Bruce Springsteen. Does not say anything else.
Well, East Side.
Wait a second.
I'm always on your side.
What about if it says, all right, okay, maybe just the cover, but what about back cover, too?
Who cares about the back? That's what he's saying. On the front cover, he has always been... Earl's feeling is this. He's a solo act with a backup band. And I'll tell you why I kind of don't see it completely as a band. Could kids tell you the name of everybody in the band like they could have fucking told you everybody in the Beatles and the Who? You get outside the big man, and, people are a little fucking confused.
Yeah, no one can tell you a lot of bands, people can't tell you the artist. Like, I bet you no one can tell you the name of Radiohead, all the people in it. Yeah, I'm a Radiohead fan. I don't know the drummer's name.
That's why I didn't give you fucking Radiohead as one of the 7 bands of all time. But when you get into any of the bands I mentioned, the Who... On and on and on and on. Beatles, Stones. People know everybody.
I bet you people don't know the Who's bassist. Fez?
John Entwistle. Everybody fucking knows that. Here's Chris. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, for the last 10 years, Dave Matthews has been pretty good American band selling out, and they did Central Park.
Again, let's get into the same thing. Is he a solo artist?
No, he's not.
Or is it a band?
I thought he was African.
Yeah.
It's a band.
Nah, you're a band. You're a fucking band. Now, I don't know. It's a good point, but yeah, Fez is right. He's South African. And don't give me that, no, he lived in Virginia long enough. No, he didn't.
He is an African-American.
Ozzy lives over in L.A., and nobody thinks he's from L.A. Hey, Ryan, you're in Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
What about R.E.M., man?
What about him?
They're a great band. They could pull the heat.
I got this for you. Shiny, happy people.
They're also not going to get asked to play a Super Bowl halftime.
You don't think so?
Nah. I don't think it ever would happen.
You don't think if they got to jump in with a lot of people, like one of those things where they're not doing the whole show? They've actually... R.E.M. is one of those bands, if they would have... Something would have happened to them in like the 80s or maybe even early 90s, if their plane would have crashed, great band. But they fucking lived too long.
Yeah, Michael Stipe could have been legendary.
That's really not fair. Monster was a huge album, 1995. And their album in 2001 was phenomenal.
For you, yeah.
Monster sucked.
You were completely wrong about Springsteen. Look at all this. Album cover after album cover.
He got him confused with the Silver Bullet Band. Their name goes on the album cover.
I got you screaming at me. Look at this. I'm the biggest Springsteen. Why does everyone from Jersey have to yell they're the biggest Springsteen fan?
I know it's
except
not
for your neighbor.
It's not the same as a cover, but when you have Bruce Springsteen CDs in your on the side, it always says Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band.
It's
Born to
gotta
Run.
be the cover.
Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. No one looks at the covers anymore.
What if I said to Fez? Oh yeah, your name's going to be on the show, but on the back. No one would. He would fucking know that he was Robin Quivers at that point on. You got to be very careful that your name goes up front.
Wait a minute, is that Ronnie going into the Broadcasting Hall of Fame? What the hell?
Yeah, but I'm paying.
But isn't it interesting that on that collection right there, it says Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, they're the best of 1975 to 1985. So it doesn't say just Bruce Springsteen. So on the best of collection, it's the E Street Band on the cover.
Yes.
So I am correct with everything that I said.
No, you're not. You're honestly wrong. And I would have bet money that their names were on the Born to Run album. I didn't know about the other ones, but I fucking thought for sure they run that.
And The River.
Yeah, no, they're on the back sleeve. They're always.
Who wants it on the back sleeve?
But they're always,
that's fucking embarrassing.
But it's always credited to Bruce when he went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Max has got to work his second job. That's how bad he's doing with that fucking band. It's unbelievable.
Will Stevens working 3 other jobs.
Hey, do we know whether Sly Stone is showing up for the Grammys?
The Grammy people are insisting that he is.
And what are you insisting? First of all, the people in Woodstock thought he was showing up on time. The motherfucker comes out when he comes out. When's the last time he's appeared on stage?
Wow. It's got to be at least 25 years.
Can
easily.
they hold the show until midnight till he decides to come out? Wait 3 hours?
I'll be there, brother.
I mean,
I'll fucking be sitting waiting patiently.
That will be one of the, in my opinion, that would be one of the all-time great TV moments if he actually showed up, said a few words, and actually sang a song on stage.
Go back and watch the Woodstock movie. It's 1969. Basically, you're looking at rock as big as it get at that time. The Who were there. The band was there. Grateful Dead were there. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young were there. On and on and on. However big you can get, everybody was there. You go back and watch that film. Tell me who had the biggest fucking set. Sly and the Family fucking Stone. That's who did. Sly and the Family Stone. Yeah, in this country, you never hear their names coming up.
You don't think
fucking
the Who?
People, they blew... Did you watch the film?
Yes.
They blew the Who shit away. Blew it away.
How about Joe and the Country Fish?
They weren't country fish, were they?
Is that the same?
Here's Josh. Josh, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, what about Molly Crew?
What about him? We're not
What do you
saying
mean, what about him?
We're not saying the most tattooed bands of all time.
Oh, best in reality television.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Goes to College and Surreal Life.
Hey, Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, it's got to be the Eagles. I mean, come on, they had the best-selling album of all time, the best of the Eagles from 1971 to 1975.
Is this my mom calling? Because that's who should be listening to the Eagles. The Eagles have to be put up there. But you're not going to compare the Eagles to any of the bands that we brought up. They're not that big. They're not as well respected.
A couple years ago, USA Today, I believe, did do this, and Pearl Jam came up as #1 American band of all time. Pearl Jam.
Yeah, but look who you're quoting, USA Today. They have fucking graphs half the time.
Yeah. They have a pie chart of who ate tacos yesterday during the Super Bowl.
I don't get your point.
I'm just saying a reputable news source like USA Today said Pearl Jam greatest American rock band because they put out several. I mean, you could say Nirvana might be the biggest, really, biggest band, but they only put out 3 albums, so that's not fair.
Yeah, it's hard to be. I said the same thing about the Doors.
Right.
You gotta fucking stay around for a while. Here's and don't tell me the Doors are touring now, Dave.
No, but they put out 6 albums.
Yeah, I know. But
I go by albums, not years.
4 years. You know what I mean? When we're just talking about the Stones being around for 40 years, and if you're going to look at that, the Beatles were out for what, 6 years?
8 years, 62 to 70.
Yeah, and how many albums?
10 or so.
Yeah. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, how you doing?
Dave gets on my nerves. He comes in here screaming, and
Well,
always the wrong facts. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Eastside Dave is completely wrong about Bruce Springsteen right now. There are only 2 actual albums that include Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, and they're both live albums.
Thank you, though, sir, for proving my point correct. Thank you.
But he's just saying just the live albums, and that's embarrassing.
But I said more than one.
But I would have to say this. You mind if we get our fucking name on the cover? Is that a problem, Bruce? Or or is your giant ego got to consume everything?
Yeah, that's not like it's a mistake at the printers constantly. That's done purposefully.
When you
the Street Band's even different. They have different members, Dave. They've changed the members since the band started.
Then that's not a band.
Barely,
that's fucking backup.
Sir, barely. Clarence Clemens, or I call him the big man, the professor of music, he's been there forever. Will Stevens been there since 75?
No.
Since 75, I said.
Yeah, and then he
30
left.
years.
No, he didn't. He left in the middle of that. When he went out,
back in 99.
Yes, because he wasn't there for the fucking 80s.
Weinberg.
When he would start he didn't start with the band.
But he was there by 75.
So what? That's not permanent members of a band.
It didn't become a permanent unit until maybe 75, 76.
Right.
Like Max Weinberg, I don't even think he played on Born to Run.
He didn't.
It was Ernest Boom Carter.
Yeah.
So
he didn't.
It was just kind of this rotating. David
That's
Sanchez.
Totally wrong.
It's the fucking bum of the month.
Wrong.
Yeah, David Sanchez was in the band
Here's the thing.
for a
It's
while.
like the fucking Wings. Oh, by the way, the newest person in the band is my wife. So here she is. That's fucking Paul McCartney bullshit.
So you don't then consider Ronnie Wood a part of the Stones by your little Mr. B logic?
No, I don't.
What?
Brian Jones is the fucking Stones, my friend. Brian Jones.
Ronnie Wood is not a part of the Stones.
You know what? He's the backup fucking baby. To me, Ronnie Wood's in the Faces. And I'm going to say Small Faces. I'm going to go all the way back.
Who do you consider Brian Johnson a part of AC/DC?
I don't consider it fucking AC/DC. What am I, in Australia?
But
what was this? The Land Down Under?
Back in Black is their biggest album.
Who are you going to bring up next? Men at Work? Is that where you're fucking going with this? You're driving me crazy.
AC/DC is the top 10 rock band of all time.
Call G-Vac. You and him together can have a circle jack, but I can't be part of it. Here's Perry. Perrynoid.
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
I was going to ramble on about Aerosmith, how they're the greatest American rock and roll band. They can't do any wrong.
Well, here's what I would say about Aerosmith. A lot of tribute bands have done very well. A lot of Led Zeppelin tribute bands have done very well for themselves, and Aerosmith is probably the finest of that.
Oh, now they're still cutting brand new songs, unlike the Stones, who you're paying $300 to go see recycled old songs. These guys still put out great hooks, great songs, and, they're great. But listen, what I really wanted to ask you, Paul McCartney and Wings, do you consider that a band or Paul's solo project?
You know it's not a band. That's not a fucking
band.
band.
That's kind of like the same thing as E Street Band.
You're right.
They're Bruce's Wings.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's totally untrue.
Springsteen's Wings.
Can I say something, Dave?
Yeah.
This is your first subpar show since you started doing the hot dog thing.
Because the music, it gets under my nerves.
What's that mean? It gets under your nerves.
I'm not here to joke around. I'm not here to
see. On my nerves is a bad thing. That's not a positive thing.
I'm not.
This music's on my nerves, Fez. I can't stop jumping. It's under my nerves.
I'm not here to kid around.
You know what? Now it's under your thumb. That's where you are with it right now.
I'm not here to joke around. I'm here to set the record
under
straight.
My nerves. Go ahead.
What about Primus, #1 American band of all time?
Come on.
Just for the South Park theme.
The Ramones?
Come on. You've got to be somewhat big with the masses. You got to understand that. Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
I just felt it was necessary to go back and comment on the stupidity of the Green Day suggestion. They're not American, first of all, and why would you endorse their #1 single was American Idiot?
Right.
Don't you think that would be kind of retarded to put as an American rock band?
No, they are an American rock band. And American Idiot was a fucking gigantic fucking hit for them.
They're from England or Ireland. Billy
they're
Joe.
not.
Green Day. They're from
They're like-
Oakland.
yeah.
They're from Oakland, California.
O-Town.
Billy Joe.
He's from,
Yes.
They're from
Yes.
Oakland, all of them.
Look up your facts before you make a call, Matt.
Jesus.
You're as dumb as Eastside, who was acting like AC/DC was an American band. We're talking about American bands. You're screaming AC/DC.
He heard the word green and
Wait.
assumed Irish.
Here's my favorite thing. Under my nerves, the girl who once had me down under my thumb. Here's Preston, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, I just wanted to say that as far as I know, I think Springsteen wrote like all of his own songs, so it seems like he gets to say who's on his album cover or whatever, and they just play for him in live, you know?
Yeah, it's not like anybody in that band could go, hey, Bruce, I have a hit. I think I got a song here that you'll like. You know what he would say? Fucking slide that under your own door. Don't ever let any of your shitty songs show up under my door.
So Southside Johnny would never get a chance?
I mean, there's the thing. When everyone calls you the boss, it doesn't mean that it's a democracy. Southside Johnny is not in the fucking... Is not in the band. Do you think Southside Johnny's in the E Street Band?
I thought for this in the 70s he was.
No.
And Bruce wrote for Southside Johnny.
Yeah. He was never in the E Street Band. Am I right there, Earl?
No, never in East Street. He was always on his own.
Ow. What are you doing here? I don't belong here.
I hit my head or something before I came in.
Not a place for you. Under my knives. Rick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yes, this is on the Allman Brothers note. They do play in the South. They played at the Bonnaroo Music Festival for
First
the last
of all,
3 years.
I want you to understand something. Obviously, they played in every state. What I'm trying to tell Earl is they're not as big everywhere as they are in the New York area. Now, you know who else played Bonnaroo? Rich Voss. You fucking tell me that Rich Voss is the #1 fucking American band?
I saw him at Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
I went to Bonnaroo 2 years, 2004.
2 years running. Way to go.
In 2004, and it was unbelievably funny. He was in a tiny little tent. You had 50,000 people. It was total Woodstocked out. 100,000 people at one stage, 50,000 people another, 20,000, and then in the Voss tent, there was a good 12 people or so.
Who was there to see you? Why are you putting Richie down?
No, I'm not
Why
saying.
are you attacking the Panther
He should have
Boy?
gotten plugged, though. There was no,
What are you, his manager? What do you know what he's doing, and what's up to him?
I'm just saying, everyone knew that, Wilco, Bob Dylan was going to be there, stuff like, David Byrne was there, and then, no one knew that Rich Voss was there. I was trying to spread it around myself.
Why didn't you hand out more flyers?
I told as many people as I could. Rich Voss, he's a very funny guy, and they usually looked at me with disgust, walked past me, things of that nature. But everyone...
Because you're weird looking and you were probably muddy.
Well, there was a little bit of dirt on me. And there was a little bit of throw-up.
Sassafras, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
I was going to mention the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I was also going to ask if Earl had ever heard of a band called The Strokes. They have a new album, and they're amazing.
Phenomenal.
Earl, why are you putting down American bands?
Hey, I'm not putting that. How can I put
Why don't
that?
you do this? Why don't you do a show called White Rock Coalition, where you're promoting white bands? Is that a problem?
Would you have enough material, Earl?
Just a bunch.
It's the Eagles. This is Hotel California on White Rock Coalition.
Why does everyone absolutely detest that Eagles now? It's just so...
I don't know. I just joined in. I found that I could get laughs with Billy Joel, and then I just switched that over to Eagles jokes.
No, there's such a hatred for Don Henley that is unparalleled in rock and roll.
Well, Don Henley must die. I'm going to go along with that Elvis. What was his name?
Mojo Nixon.
Mojo Nixon, thank you. Elvis is Everywhere was his big hit. Here is Chad. Chad, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Chad.
Hey,
Hey, what's up? Hey, I was wondering if you guys heard about Tommy Lee getting his ass beat at the M&M after party last night after the Super Bowl.
Give me all the details. I'm not part of it. What happened? Who beat him up?
I honestly don't know what happened. I was on the news this morning. Most people had camera phone pictures of Tommy Lee on the ground getting stomped by a bunch of people.
All right, if anybody saw pictures of that, send it to Ron and Fez at AOL.com. Ron and Fez at AOL.com. I'll say this, Tommy Lee's like 50 now, so you're not going to win a lot of fights at the M&M after party. Now, who got shot in Brooklyn last night? What was happening there? Some kind of a gangbanger hip-hop thing, Earl?
Yeah, Busta Rhymes is shooting a new video.
What year is this? That fucking Busta Rhymes gets to shoot new videos.
No, hey, he's back and he's selling records again because he sung on that Pussycat Dolls song.
Is that right?
Which was a huge hit. And he has a new record out and he was shooting a video and he had a bunch of some of the big names in hip hop were there. You know, Mary J. Blige was there. For some reason, Winky Wright, the middleweight champion, was there. And apparently there was a big crowd problem. They told a couple of people to leave.
Here's
people
the way
upset. Shots were fired.
Hip-hop, when you have too many people in the room, you shoot some of them. That's their way of going, we've got to pay attention to the fire code.
That's every awards ceremony. You can't even have a nice night out and collect some trophies in a tuxedo.
That is a nice night out for them. It was a great night. I won 2 awards and shot a bodyguard. At least the bodyguard did the right thing. Took the bullet for him.
So was it just one dead, Earl?
One dead, and several people got the crap scared out of them.
Hope they kept filming this for the video.
Literally.
Keep those cameras rolling.
He lost his dreadlocks, Busta. He's going with the short hairdo now.
Is he really?
Sort of like one person that I call East Side Dave. Short hair. Me and Busta. We're hair buddies.
RT, we missed you, buddy. I wish you would have got through. Eric, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Eric.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Love the show. First of all, here's a band that's been around for 20-some-odd years. They're like cockroaches. You can't get rid of them. Bon Jovi.
Now, if we were talking about MILFs, I would say yes, I would put Bon Jovi on the top of the charts. But greatest bands of all time, American bands, that's rough for me.
He's also up there for arena football owners.
Yeah, you're not going to beat that. Prettiest arena football owner all time?
Oh, gotta be.
Johnny Bon Jovi. Now, there's a Richie Sambora breakup, huh?
Yeah, Richie Sambora and Heather Locklear are calling it quits. They are done.
What happened? She's going back to Tommy Lee after he got beat up?
Yeah, I think that's exactly where she'll end up.
I'll never forget Tommy.
Maybe she'll move on to Kid Rock now.
I met them one time when they were together. And it was, when the Crew was really a fucking huge band. And Tommy was so beat at the time. I mean, he just looked like grease. And that fucking Heather Locklear was pretty, so pretty, you almost couldn't look at her. She was, beautiful in the way that Shaq is tall. Freakishly beautiful. Have you ever met her in person?
I've seen her in person. It's like looking at a life-size Barbie doll.
The pictures do no justice, right?
Without question. Same with Pam.
She was in a room, and people were everybody was just kind of looking at their feet, kicking some dust up. She was, scary beautiful. Not even hey, that's a beautiful chick. Just that's a freak of nature. Something is wrong with her because there's too much beauty.
Mm-hmm. James King. I met James King at a bar one time. She was the same way. Couldn't stare at her. I tried to get her a drink. Couldn't do it. It was too much. She almost looked like a rat.
It was Alan King. You're talking about Alan King.
Yeah, you almost you're almost looking her down just to find anything, a blemish, a scar, a pimple.
Yeah, I saw it. It was fucking Tommy Lee standing next to her, looking like a fucking 8-ball with fucking greasy hair. I just started trying to learn drums right there. I just started trying to pick up a fucking beat. Smelly, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, dudes, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to ask you guys, what do you think the best punk rock band is?
American?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go Ramones. It's a sin not to say the Ramones.
I'd go with Bad Religion, but hey, if you think Ramones, I trust you.
All right, thanks. Here's the Ed. Ed, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, why does Fez want Bette Midler?
Well, because The Rose was a very important movie for him at one time. The Rose is playing on cable again this month.
The Harlettes, band or backup?
Who are the Harlettes?
I think they backed up Bette Midler.
Who?
Bette Midler.
Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Roddy, I missed soundboard welching Fez, too.
He was better then. He really was more interesting then.
Hey, I got to call you out, though, Ronnie. You said Leonard Skinner was the first Southern rock. How about that little old band from Houston, Texas called ZZ Top?
You know, I agree with you. I'm trying to tell you what some of the Southern radio stations think. But ZZ Top would be more than, like, they get more airplay than the Allman Brothers even.
Sure, they were
ZZ Top was a gigantic band at one time. I know it's hard to believe in hindsight, but they were huge. I don't know how we even got into this topic. I don't know how it even fucking took off on us. It's driving me crazy.
It was the guy who didn't think the Stones belonged at the Super Bowl.
I know that. Fez, what do you got to plug? You said you had to say hi to somebody.
Yeah, I got a shout-out here to Dr. Steve's lovely assistant, Laura, and that's from Goatweed.
You know, when I think of Laura, I laugh. I don't cry. I know she'd want it that way. A little callback song. What's your name?
Laura.
Laura.
And she is the lovely assistant of Dr. Steve. I don't know what's going on there with Goatweed, but she's got a fan who wanted to shout out to her today.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
We also got an email.
Oh, I'll ring the bell then. Earl, that Ron Fez at AOL.com, it's working. We got an email in.
And now, Ron and Fez, the show of the future, brings you...
Electronic mail. Mail sent electronically.
What do you got there, Fezzy Bear?
This is from Jim in Jersey. He has a problem. He says, maybe you guys can help me with it.
Is it moving? Because I'm not going to do it.
No.
If he needs somebody to move him, I'm not in.
Not moving anywhere, but he has a lesbian friend.
Then I will help him.
And she is talking about her and her girlfriend using artificial insemination so they can have a kid together.
Mm.
So talking about a sperm donor, he's picking up certain hints from her, wondering if she wants him to be the sperm donor.
So the question is, can you do it? Is that it?
Yeah, should he dive into this? What do you guys think?
All right, let me check with you what you said, Dave. If you gave your sperm away to some friends, would you feel like that was your kid?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd be proud of that.
But then you would feel like I need to be involved in the kid's life.
Yeah, I would butt in. I would do lots of things. I would probably
you're not the
stalk.
Yeah, you're not the kind of guy people want to be a sperm donor. What about you, Earl?
I wouldn't do it. I would have too much of an emotional attachment to it.
All right, so I will say this. Earl, you're psychologically, you're better off than Eastside is, because what Eastside is saying is he would want that emotional, and he would do it, and then still try to show up with baseball gloves instead of letting these two women raise the kid the way they want. That's not being a friend.
Just on the weekends, I don't see what's wrong with taking them out to the ball yard.
Because because they don't want an extra dad. That's
tough.
The problem.
Don't ask me for sperm.
Right.
You asked me for the sperm. I'm giving it to you, sweetheart.
First of all, here's the thing. Nobody wants a redheaded kid, so you're not going to be asked. This is all just hypothetical right now. Here's Nick. Nick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I have a friend that was in college that was a sperm donor.
Right.
And it was so funny because we actually know the girl who bought it. And it turned out to be, a blonde little kid with a Hispanic family.
And did he feel like he needed to be the dad for that kid, or was he able to step back?
No, he didn't feel like it at all, but the parents of the mother were real furious that he didn't want to be part of it at all.
Well, if you're a sperm donor, that's the whole point. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just doing that. Now, I would do that for my friends in a heartbeat. I would definitely do it. I would take the step back away, and I think it's why you don't want to really do it with, like, younger guys in their 20s, because they still have I need to be involved. It's still fucking about them, rather than thinking what's best for the kid. Now, I did this before for friends of mine. He couldn't have kids, and I actually had to sleep with his wife to get her pregnant. And the only problem was, every time when I was supposed to donate the sperm, I'd pull out and roll a quick one on her tits. And then I'd go, no, I'm only kidding. Give me another 20 minutes. I'm going to do it right. And then I would pop it down on her ass. And that went on for 3.5 months before finally I just got sick of her and her fucking nagging. Dropped one in like a champ, First time, every time with me. And then the kid was born and I haven't even looked back. Never even looked over. Matter of fact, I saw him one Christmas. I screamed at him. I was during my drinking times. But I think that you should be able to do that. Fez, what about you? Could you do that without getting involved?
No, I couldn't do it without getting involved. I would have to be involved in it.
And then that kid's stuck with a gay dad, so that would be a fucking problem. You really have to think of what is best for the child. And the best thing for the child is for you not to come around making it about you. I don't know why people have to do that all the time. Like, they're so special.
Best thing for planet Earth is to have one of my little kids around, because what you get is you get the intelligence and you're getting athleticism. Great movie tastes, great music tastes. What's not to like?
I don't get either one with you. You got fucking wish you were here tattoos. It's hideous. Al, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. I would do it if the lesbians were hot and I could do it the old-fashioned way.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, I'm sure they're not going to ask you.
No, cross him off the list.
Not going to work out for you. What else you got over there, Fezzo?
Those riots going on and demonstrations from the Muslim cartoons.
What is exactly happening? I only saw this out of the corner of my eye. I know the Muslims are frustrated because these cartoons are so bad. So now they're going around, what are they doing, burning up the embassies of these places?
Yeah, burning up the embassies, demonstrating in 12 different Muslim countries now. And
give me the rundown of the Dirty Dozen. Where's it happening?
A lot happening in Syria, Iraq, it's happening in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia got added to the list.
Wow.
Among others.
These Muslims got zero sense of humor about them. Just not easygoing guys. Now, I saw some of the cartoons, the political cartoons. I agree, they're stupid. They're obviously not funny, but I'm not going to burn down a goddamn building over it.
Yeah, it looks like World War III could start over a lousy cartoon. And the Danish newspaper, the cartoonists there, have gone into hiding.
Well, this is what we need to do. We need to start dropping cartoons on these fuckers. It seems to drive them into a frenzy.
So this Danish newspaper that started all this, they had invited like 25 different cartoonists to do Muslim cartoons. The theme was, how does Muhammad look to you? Where in Muslim law or rule or whatever, you can't even do a nice cartoon of Muhammad. You're not supposed to make an image of him.
So what's the point of that, though? What is their point saying? That it's sacrilegious?
Yeah, that they've desecrated the religion and Muhammad.
See, here's the thing. To be sacrilegious, right, you need to be part of that religion. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you did something against Jesus, if you did a Jesus joke, that's sacrilegious. If you do a joke about a Norse god, it's not sacrilegious because you're not a pagan. That's what these fuckers don't understand. It only means something to you when it's your religion. Otherwise, it's just gibberish. It means nothing.
So some of the chants going on at the demonstrations are, Europe, your 9/11 will come. Our beloved Bin Laden, Denmark must be blown up.
All right, the only good thing about that is it takes a little heat off a place I like to call the United States of America. So maybe we start to drop stuff on them about, hey, Moscow hates Muslims. Whatever it takes to frustrate them.
You should see their comic strips, those Russian ones.
But you know what weirded me out? I saw a thing where the Vatican came out on the side of the Muslims, going, hey, you really shouldn't be doing jokes about religion. What? What are you talking about? You crazy bastards?
Yeah, we jumped in on the Muslim side really, really quick.
Who's we?
The United States.
What did we say?
Yeah, we denounced these cartoons as well.
I didn't hear anything about that. I was talking about the Vatican. What did we say?
Oh, yeah, we said that basically the exact same thing, that this should not be happening, and that these cartoons shouldn't be getting reprinted, and the Danish newspaper shouldn't have done it in the first place.
What are we talking about? We do fucking movies where people play God all the time. And that's what we do over here. We don't act like, oh my God, Jim Carrey should be put in jail for what he's done. He somehow brought us down. Just insane. Here's Matt. Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I don't donate my sperm to anybody, whoever wants it.
Why is that, Matt?
Because I love to give.
All right, see you later. Here's Costanza. You're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, this is exactly what Allah would want. The nice peacefulness and the calm demonstrations that's going on.
Yeah, he must be proud. He must be proud up there with all the virgins.
Exactly.
All right, see you later. So all these people that did the cartoons, they're underground now, huh? They're scared shitless.
They are totally hiding. And they've been threatened with beheadings if they're caught by the Muslim demonstrators across the Middle East.
You know what was really hysterical to me is Stevie Wonder did the pregame show, and he did something where, as he's singing his thing about everybody coming together, he had to say something like, not about religion, this is about love. Right now, if you say that you're religious, you're a dangerous person on this planet. You're a troublemaker. When it used to be like, we need to get back to religion. Now, and I'm not talking about spirituality, you know what I'm talking about, religion. Now when there's two or more people gathered with the same beliefs, you need to be afraid of them, because they're scary as shit.
It's the organization that gets people.
Bam is hanging out with us. He's got more videos to show us. I say no, Fez. I refuse to watch. I know Earl threw up at the last video, and I just don't get into it at all. Adam, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ronnie, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, you know, one thing that you guys don't realize, the only purpose of this cartoon was aimed to embarrass and to piss off Muslims. There's nothing funny behind the cartoon.
First of all, we talked about this before. There's no such thing as a funny political cartoon.
Well,
they all stink.
On top of that, the only thing that was going to happen, and I am one who, trust me, as a Muslim, we've done enough things to fuck shit up. But for this point, they absolutely deserve whatever they get.
You're out of your mind.
Well, no, absolutely. You're nuts, Ronnie, because, once again, it doesn't offend you. It is something that is extremely offensive to us, and it was aimed specifically to embarrass and to insult the religion. There was nothing.
First of all, you could say the same thing about any cartoon about President Bush or President Clinton. It's made to embarrass or to... Hustler has cartoons that are... I've looked at some of them and was disgusting.
Do you think they're offended, Ronnie? When you see cartoons of President Reagan or whoever it might be, are you offended?
Not me, because I'm an American and I believe in freedom of speech. But I know people have been offended by different religious things about Jesus. I was raised a Catholic, and people do Pope jokes, and you don't go into a fucking frenzy and start getting violent. So to say they deserve anything that's coming to them is the same thing as saying, oh yeah, 9/11 was a good thing.
No,
Adam.
you can't. Nobody's going to sit there and say 9/11 was a good thing. Ron.
Yes, they fucking say it in the Middle East today. What the hell? Fezzi was just showing those things that saying the next 9/11's going to Denmark.
Because it's the most outrageous thing to say, and it takes one person out of a million protesters.
Right, exactly. You're exactly right. It's an outrageous thing to say, and that doesn't fucking hurt anyone.
They're begging Bin Laden to blow up Denmark.
Right.
Begging him.
But, I mean, here's the deal.
But that's okay, because
it's not okay. It's not okay. Here's what this cartoon was specifically decided. This was a specific attack on...
It's not an attack. It's a fucking cartoon.
No, it's an attack.
How weak are someone's beliefs that they can't stand up to a cartoon?
You guys keep putting that in the wrong context. Plain and simple, guys. This is something that offends, and this has been...
All right, I want you to understand something, Adam. If a cartoon can break you into a fucking frenzy when you're burning people's buildings and you're calling to kill people, there's something fucked up with your spiritual belief.
Okay. Well,
there's no cartoon that can do that.
Well, the cartoon was, once again, designed to insult the religion. There was nothing. You tell me what was there to gain. It wasn't no message. It had nothing to do. We personally believe that there cannot be anything printed with the prophet. Not only was there a picture printed, but there was a picture printed with a bomb on his head.
But here's the thing. If that's your belief, then don't you print those fucking pictures, okay? But don't think that everybody has to live by that belief.
No,
that's where you're insane.
When we're attacked, you're not going to sit there and...
Bro, I want you to understand something. Attacked is not a cartoon. You're not under a cartoon. That's the fucking mentality of a psychotic person who thinks There's been a cartoon out, so all I can do is violence.
Right.
There's nothing else I can do.
This is exactly the huge disconnect between the West and the Islamic world. And this is exactly why we have so many stinking issues, because we've got nut jobs on both sides who entice. And whoever was printing this knew exactly what these idiots would do. They would lose their goddamn mind and go into a fracas.
All right, I'm going to tell you something, bro. When you have somebody, let's say somebody says something. If I call Fez a name, right? Yeah. And Fez hits me or shoots me or whatever, and what else could I do? He called me a name, right? He is in the wrong. He is in the wrong for that.
Agreed.
Legally. And that's where your fucking religion is right now. That you can say, look, we are upset that a cartoon was put out. It's only done to offend us. That's where you go. But when you turn into that mob frenzy, lighting shit on fire, calling for death for people, you're out of your mind. You're going to lose that fucking battle. And there's something wrong with any religion that acts that way, whether it's Christian or Jewish or whatever. When you get into that place, you stop being a person.
Okay, agreed. But at the point where Ronnie, these folks aren't, me and you sitting here in this beloved country, and we sit here, we're educated, we have common sense. These folks don't have anything but their religion. They don't go to school, Ronnie. They don't sit here, drive around lovely cars.
Yes, they're dangerous people.
That's right. I agreed. Absolutely agreed. But this person making this picture knew exactly who they were going to piss off. We can come out and come out with every statement in the world.
Adam, I'm going to tell you something. The Amish people only go to school to, like, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade. But if you do something about the Amish religion, they're not going to start burning shit down. You cannot use ignorance as an excuse. And you cannot act like a cartoon. And I don't give a shit how stupid it was. I haven't seen any of these cartoons. I'm going to imagine that they were all idiotic. But to me, all the political cartoons are stupid.
Yeah, but once again, it didn't offend you. It offended everybody else, Ronnie, and that's the difference. If something came out that doesn't offend you...
Wait, no. I cannot imagine that a cartoon could be so offensive that I would burn down a building.
And there's our disconnect, buddy, because religiously it is that important to us that and never in our history has anybody even dared to portray a image of the prophet. And once again, this has a
lot. Let me tell you something. Jesus
has been under attack since 9/11 because everything that happens religiously, we have to explain.
All right, let me explain something to you, okay? Yeah, right. I grew up a Catholic where you don't eat meat on Friday, right?
Yes.
Now, you eat meat on Friday. I can't fucking start freaking out and acting like you've done something against God because we don't share the same beliefs. People could walk in. I would never take communion in a Catholic church without having confession first. People have walked in off the church, never been into a Catholic thing, took a communion, which to us would have been the body of Christ. But you don't go into a frenzy and start smashing that person. You just think they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're not part of our religion. You cannot take it to this extremes that you're talking about, Adam.
Let me ask you, Ronnie, if there was a image of Jesus, let's say molesting a child with all the scandals.
Yes, Hustler Magazine has done it. And I don't go burning down a Hustler Magazine.
No one's even protested outside Rolling Stone for the Kanye West cover right now.
Okay, well,
and I'm not saying that there's not Christians who don't act crazy about things all the time and take everything too far. You do. But when you do that, when you resort to violence, you're fucking wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't think the embassy should be torched to burn. I still think there's not only the Denmark news printed, then the French papers, the Spanish papers reprinted after the riot.
They're on the internet. People are passing them around. I could go pick them up right now.
Yeah, but they purposely reprinted them, Ron, and this is the big deal, where we can use common sense here and sit back here and look at the situation. They knew exactly what these folks were going to do, and this doesn't have to do just with the pictures. This religion's been under attack since 9/11 because it has to clarify itself, and it needs a leader in a religion where there's not supposed to be a leader. So, I mean, and the same thing with Ronnie, I'm an avid listener, and I love your show. The same thing when you keep dropping the virgin lines, that drives me insane. Because it has nothing to do with a sexual term. That's what absolutely the entire media...
I'm going to explain something to you. There will be Muslims that disagree with you. Just like there was Catholics... 100%. Yes. There's Catholics that disagree with me. So what you think is your belief, Adam, it's only your belief, not everybody else's.
Dude, I totally agree. I'm not trying to put my beliefs onto anyone. But what happens is, plain and simple, there's people who probably think I should not be listening to Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez because it's not politically correct because some of the topics they covered. I choose to do that. I mean, somebody might go, you know what, you're a horrible person for doing what you do. And that might...
That's fine. Everybody can call each other a horrible person. When you take it into violence, when you take it into fucking madness, that's what we're talking about. And you said, Adam, and it's where I start disagreeing, is whatever happens to those people, they got coming to them. And that's bullshit that somebody should die over a fucking cartoon.
No, now, let me rephrase that. I wasn't talking about the actual cartoonists. I meant these riots and all this embassy torture. They knew that was going to happen. They knew it. You knew that was going to happen.
Somebody working in an embassy on the other side of the world should be in danger because a cartoon ran on a newspaper that had nothing to do with that embassy.
And
that's cool.
That country, it had to do with the Denmark embassy and whoever it was. You knew in Libya, where are you going to go? You can't go. You're going to go burn the Libyan paper.
But so there are people there who are trying to get things together between countries that are now in fucking jeopardy. It would be like saying the United States Embassy should be burned somewhere because the New York Post runs something or the New York Times ran an article. That's insane talk. People should not be in danger.
Here's what was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen, Ronnie. This is my point. You knew that there weren't going to be quiet protests in Indonesia.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, bro. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
It'll go away.
No, don't fucking bet on it. What's going to happen is, unless we get this thing together between these two people, and there's a lot of people in this country pushing to fucking just go into the Middle East. And this is fueling the fire as well. Do you understand that, Adam?
I do, dude. Do you imagine what I have to go through on a daily basis? I was born and raised in New York City. It is my home. Do you understand the shit that I have to try to play on these sides where I've got folks going, well, you should be doing this, and yet I have to sit there and watch the shit that goes on? I mean, dude, I love this country without a doubt, but you can't tell me that we haven't done some fucked up shit, number one. Okay? Number two, has people on the other side of religion done fucked up shit? Absolutely. They need to be put into their place and going, you can't do this. It's a double-sided war for me, dude, and it's hard to fight both sides of the fucking fire.
I know, man. And somewhere we've got to...
no common sense in between because you've got extremists on each side.
Right.
The only difference between Bush and fucking Osama and half of these issues is about $500 million. And you've got both of these fucking nut jobs where the middle person's the one that gets fucking smashed. There's shit that sometimes happens where I can't justify what the U.S. is doing. There's shit where it happens where I go, well, you know what? Of course they're going to think it's the fucking Muslim religion. It's what you idiots do in the name of. I get that. I can sit here and argue till I'm fucking blue in the face that it's not the religion. But you tell me what other crime and what other place where every crime that's committed, all of a sudden it has to be defined by religion. You know what I'm saying? When a Catholic drunk driver kills another Catholic drunk driver, you don't sit there going, wow, you know, the Catholic people really need to get their shit together. We got these idiots over in Iraq chopping fucking heads off, and the people going, wow, man, that religion, no fucking religion justifies chopping heads off. Are you insane? The fact that I would even have to defend that is absurd. But people don't understand the concept of religion, and I'm not going to be the one to change their minds. And it's not people's job to go in there and go, let me go check out what this religion is really about. It's not about that, but unfortunately, perception is reality, and that's what the fuck we're dealing with.
Yeah, that is true with that. But, I mean, it's nothing new. Earl will tell you, you know, he gets judged all the time, after it seemed like L.A. riots. It's nothing new.
Dude, I understand why I have to get searched on the plane. I get that. It sucks. It fucking blows. As growing up in this country and living in New York as being my home, it fucking sucks but I'm okay with it. It's fucking reality. Who blew up the planes? They're Muslims. We have to deal with that. Do we have a problem with the religion? No. The problem is we have idiots that are in the religion, just like any other religion.
I understand, but when I see that many people burning up buildings over a cartoon, that's scary shit.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell you, I'm as afraid of the white wing Christians as I am anybody. But there's any time that you get people into, they think whatever belief they have is 100% sure, and that is somehow now supposed to be fact to the rest of the world. That's scary shit to me.
Yeah, but it was a direct attack, and it's not like these folks were just...
It's not an attack. It's a cartoon. It's a fucking insulting cartoon.
It is an insulting cartoon. It's an insulting cartoon about the prophets. And that is something that's really passionate within, inside. It angered me. And I'm as laid back as laid back.
And you've never done like a Jewish joke or a Christian joke. They don't exist in the Muslim world, right?
No, of course, dude, we've been taking an ass whooping here, Ronnie. We've been taking an ass whooping when it comes to every... Look at the people that have been killed over in Iraq that had nothing to do. We're getting nailed every shape, form, or form, not only from the U.S., but from our own government.
Where are you from? Where's your people from?
My parents are from Pakistan.
Here's what kills me. You're saying we are getting killed in fucking Iraq. That's not even your country.
I understand that, but the difference between each religion is Muslims do actually qualify as one. We just do.
Right. So then, exactly. So, again, that's a strange thing. I mean, that would be like if a Christian in England got killed and me going, well, man, they're always after us. They're always chasing us down.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I'm here, I'm qualified as a Muslim. You understand that? That's exactly my point. If you broke down and said, okay, this crime was committed by an Iraqi, everything that happened here, when I'm stopped on the plane, is because I'm first a Muslim.
Right,
okay?
But you're an American, too. Are you an American, too, Adam?
I'm American. Yes, I am. I was born and raised here. But my name automatically, my first and last name automatically flagged.
I understand.
Which is cool, which is fine, which I understand that. Okay, but they look at me as a Muslim. They could care less whether I'm from India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, whatever it might be.
But you see yourself as that first, too. I mean, you're acting like the United States is attacking us in Iraq, right?
Do I think the United States I think we're in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're in the middle of a war. I don't think I can play both sides of the war. Okay, Saddam was as bad for Muslims as George Bush has been. So what's the deal there? I'm more upset with Saudi Arabia, with Jordan, with these countries going, hey, ding dong, how about taking out Saddam 10 years ago instead of waiting for people to do? I can see that side of the war. Okay.
All right, Adam. I got to go to a break, buddy. Thanks for calling us. All right.
No problem. Thanks, Ronnie.
Take care.
Thanks, Adam.
Well, Fez and I are trying to fix everything in the Middle East. It's not easy. It's not going to happen in a day, but give us a couple of weeks. We'll work it out. Let's take a break here, and we'll be right back. Ron and Fez Show.
The Ron and Fez Show. XM202.
Buddies, make sure you visit our official website. That's ronfez.net. ronfez.net.
And you can check out our MySpace page at myspace.com/Ron and Fez Show.
And if you ever need to get in touch with us, email us at ronandfez@AOL.com. ronandfez@AOL.com.
And now, back to our show.
Ronnie, Fezzy. The Ron and Fez Show. XM202.
Reach out, touch faith.
Yeah, it's the Ron and Fez Show. Ending up just talking with our buddy Adam Fez in Missouri, trying to find that common place that we can stop some of this craziness.
Adam took a lot of offense as a Muslim to those cartoons from the Danish newspaper that depicted the Prophet Muhammad wearing a bomb turban.
But, at the same time, Fez, he seemed like a real good guy, seemed like he was open to things. 866-RUN-0-FEZ. 866-RUN-0-FEZ. Hey, Mark, you're on the Ron and Fez Show. How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddies. How are you?
Cool.
What I think the point this guy is missing is that I don't think the Muslim religion is being persecuted. It's just the people who are hiding behind it to justify all their terrorism and all their killing.
I think that you would be lying if you said that people in America were not afraid of Muslims. And I would even guess people around the world. But right now in America, people are pretty much afraid of Muslims since 9/11.
Well, I mean, I see what you're saying, but the other point that I don't understand is where has been the Muslim community? Like, where's the big outrage about Al Qaeda hiding behind? I mean, if you listen to al-Zakari's messages and Bin Laden, like every other sentence ends with God willing. Okay, we're going to kill people, God willing. We want to blow up the U.S., God willing. Yet there's been no Muslim outrage about that, about hiding behind their religion.
I mean, you don't know. You don't know a lot of Muslims. You don't know what most people feel at their house. I don't know, Fez.
Yeah, these Muslims that are demonstrating, they have jumped on a real Bin Laden bandwagon of asking him to personally do something about this.
Some. Out of all the people, you're only going to hear those ones on TV. So I don't know if it's 100% Bin Laden, but those are the stuff that you're going to hear on TV. That's the stuff. Because, that's exciting stuff. Hey, Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I just wanted to say that conversation you guys had is it's one of the best that I've heard on talk radio. You crossed a lot of lines there. My hat's off to that guy. I'm a big Arab basher hater, and to hear his side it really changes my mind. I have an image of him. I think most of us do, and to hear this guy talk the way he is, I'm not agreeing with the stuff that he's saying about the cartoon being right, but to know that there's guys out there that can see that what the shit they're doing is wrong, and it makes me see. I think we all have a stereotype opinion of them, that they're here and we fucking hate them, and to know that they know what's going on and they're fucking caught in the middle. The guys here, I don't know.
Nobody is 100% right at any given time. And here's a lot of shit that goes down too that happens with us around the world. Like if some corporation goes into some little small part of the world and takes advantage of people, then they go, look what America did. You know what I mean? Like we are represented by everybody that's an American too. It's the same exact thing. And none of us in this country want to see 8-year-olds working, 15-hour shifts for a dime an hour, but it does fucking happen, and they are going to blame us for that. They are going to blame us for that. It's just a weird deal all the way around, but somehow we got to take a fucking step back because this shit house is about to go up. It's about to go up. And it ain't going to be pretty for anybody.
This is amazing, the uproar, and, I don't know, not to put it lightly for a Muslim, but over a cartoon. I mean, this is a cartoon that has put things in a fever pitch.
Here is Jonathan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, how you doing?
Yeah.
Big Ass Car 371.
Way to go, let's go.
Hoo-ah! Thank you for the hoo-ah, boys. 2 quick points. One, the difference between Muslims and Christians is that when some fanatic goes after an abortion clinic, every Catholic and Christian minister and priest in the country says, no, that shit's wrong. Muslims don't do that because they're all
not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true.
Time that you saw any
and I'm going to tell you right now, the Vatican sided with the Muslims on this thing. And I've seen Christians say this. Well, I wouldn't do that, but I could see how that could happen, or I could see how they were pushed. And don't act like Catholic people in this country never filtered money to the IRA, because that fucking
no, absolutely. And that's no better than Al Qaeda. But that brings me to the other point I'm making. Pick up any Arab newspaper any day of the week. You will see some of the most anti-Semitic, anti-Christian things you've ever seen on a daily basis. Some of these newspapers, like the ones in Egypt, are run by the state. And they are some of the most bigoted, anti-Semitic, anti-Christian things you've ever seen in your life. You don't see Christians...
I'm going to tell you something right now. Unless you are part of that religion, we talked about this earlier, you can't be sacrilegious. You cannot be. It's like us having that Christmas tree in our house is probably doing something against ancient people that used to actually mean something to, not just a chance to hang cookies on. You can't get too hung up into the religious thing. That's what weirds you out. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron. You might remember in the Village Voice after 9/11, there was a cartoonist, Ted Rall. He did a strip that was a real vicious attack on firemen's widows, portraying them money hungry. Like one of them was crawling up in a blanket of dollar bills and stuff. Now, I lost a cousin who was a firefighter.
Right.
And, I laid in bed. I thought about finding this guy. He lives right in the city. I fantasized punching him in the nose and all that. But I didn't do it.
Right. Well, we even had the guy, who's the guy? He's out of Florida. He's the right-wing talk show host that says he's gotten around to hating the survivors' families.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, I can't think.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you
mean. So the same thing. It's a stupid thing to say, but, you take it, you go on, and that's it. The guy has his opinion.
And is religion the problem? I mean, at some point, we'll go, this is a bunch of made-up shit. Could we chill out?
It's hard not to blame organized religion on every part of the world. And I'm telling you the truth. I'm more fearful right now of those people who know what happens after they die than the rest of us who think the whole damn thing is a mystery.
I'm with you.
They
Thanks a
are
lot, guys.
scary to me, and I don't care what religion they belong to. Anytime you feel like God is on your side, you're fucking somehow filling in some of the blanks. Because none of us have any evidence that God's taking care of all these things. You have no idea what he wants done. Or if you did this, if you created the heaven and earth and you could come up with DNA strands that could make one thing a bug and another thing a tree and another thing Jell-O and the heavens, earth, everything you come up with. And after pulling off that gimmick, a cartoon is going to offend you and make you feel bad about yourself? A cartoon is going to somehow hurt your feelings? I can't picture it. I cannot picture it. Here's Josh. Josh on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie Fezzy. Great show today, man. Hey, you know, one of the things I think people are losing the point on is all the newspapers that have reprinted this, and the original one who printed it in Denmark are right-wing or hard right-wing newspapers. And by people acting up like this, they're just playing into their hands.
So you're saying that the right-wing in Europe, right-wing in America wants all this stuff to happen?
They want to.
Well, I don't necessarily think in the United States, but over in Europe, you know, a lot of the right-wing political parties and newspapers play into this, you know, very pro, you know, white Europe. We don't want any immigrants, especially from some of the African and Muslim countries. And the problem is by playing into that message, by burning down embassies, you just validated their point.
You know, and that's what I was trying to point out. And I mean, for all of us that don't want to see World War III. And I know it's crazy, but there are some of us who would rather dodge World War III for our kids. You got to feel like that helps. Seeing that shit take place all over the world scares the hell out of everybody.
The fact that it spread in a weekend's time to 12 different countries. I know in this country, CNN will not show the cartoons.
Is that right?
Yeah, they have said, out of respect to Muslim viewers, they will not show the cartoons.
Blowhard sent them to me, so he has no respect whatsoever. Hey, Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I just had a problem with the way he contradicted himself. You know, he said he was persecuted for his religious beliefs. I mean, he's never been in a situation. I was in Iraq, you know, and I had rocks thrown at me by little kids because of my religious beliefs and where I was at.
Well, I'm not sure as if if it's the same thing, but here in America, have people been persecuted for religious beliefs or the color of their skin or their accent? Yeah. And I mean, white people down south could come up north and be treated in a certain way, and New Yorkers go into Alabama and you're being treated a certain way. I don't think that's hard to believe that this guy walking around as a Muslim in this day and age feels some tension in this country.
Yeah, but he's saying that you have no idea what he goes through, and, you know, what he goes through probably isn't, on a scale of 1 to 10, isn't that high, isn't that bad, you know?
Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna judge, but the guy's not dealing like he's not being treated like a regular human being in the United States, like a regular citizen, and I think we could all identify to that. I mean, I'm acting like, hey, everybody's equal, but I don't ever want to go into a place where I'm the fucking minority all the time. My head's on a swivel. Anytime I'm like that, I'm like, hey, how's everybody doing? And I'm looking for a fucking way out just to be sure.
Adam mentioned the airport specifically, and I'm sure he's getting stared at on a plane in an airport, especially when he's being searched.
Probably by me. Yeah. If I'm in the same line, I'm looking at him, I'm clocking his ass. It's not personal. It's just being afraid. But that doesn't mean that he should have to put up with it. He shouldn't have to put up with my paranoia. But again, that's the way the world is. Frank, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing, Ron? I love the show, fellas.
Yeah, it's good.
You could probably understand this.
I was just telling that to Bam during the commercial break. I go, damn, this is a good show.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in South Philly. I'm in a small neighborhood, Italian neighborhood.
Okay, fine.
And they're up my
New
street,
York,
Palestinians.
57th Street.
Yeah, these people bring all the stuff on themselves. You know, on the surface, they seem like hard-working people, but when you go to, talk to them about it, they're very hot-tempered people. And
right. Do you mean the Muslims or the cartoonists?
Yeah. No, the Palestinians, but they bring it on themselves. When it comes to Israel and the Americans, you can't kill enough of these people over there.
You're an Italian from South Philly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was born and raised Catholic, but, I got problems with my own religion. But these people, they're all like fanatics. And the funny thing is, on the surface, it's all right. But when you go over, I went over and talked to them all the time.
Frank, when's The Sopranos coming back on?
What?
When's The Sopranos back on HBO?
I'm not sure.
Call me with the update, all right?
Yeah.
All right?
Got it.
And if I want a sandwich, I'll call you, all right, Frank?
You do that.
All right, buddy. Thanks, my man. It's Frank from South Philly.
And I'm starving.
It's all those people. Trust me, Ronnie. I know how they are. I see them around the Italian market, fucking walking around with their Arab hair, Arab dresses on. I see them. Oh, they're haters. They are haters. Here's Jay. Jay, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Jay, what's up, buddy?
Oh, hey, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
First of all, man, I really miss Hypnotized Fez.
Me too. He was the best.
Wasn't he though? Hey, listen, man, this whole deal is all bullshit. It's just like our race problem that we have right here now.
Fez and I fixed the race problems in this country, yes.
Well, goddammit, I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, it's all taken care of now.
That's why you see that huge line of blacks and whites out trying to get into Coretta Scott King's funeral to see her today. Open casket. They keep showing her on the news.
Well,
Bush is going there, right?
Yeah, he's going to the funeral.
Put me on the memo list, will you?
Yeah. All right, talk to you later, bro.
Later, man.
Here's Jeremy. Jeremy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Buddy.
I just wanted to say something about CNN. I think they're full of shit with not showing the cartoon because anytime somebody does like an anti-Catholic art or something like that, it's on every 15 minutes that they're showing it.
That is a good point. We had a thing in here a couple of years ago where Rudy Giuliani was furious about a picture of the Virgin Mary with elephant dung on it. And when I heard the original thing, I'm like, son of a bitch. These sons of... Because, Fezzi, I feel about the Virgin Mary about the way you feel about Luther Vandross. That's somebody that my religion holds in esteem. Well, did you ever get a chance to see the painting?
No,
Because
I
I
never
saw it
did.
live. It's not offensive whatsoever. The dung is off to the side. It's an African thing. First of all, the woman looks nothing like what we think of the Virgin Mary. Unless someone said that's the Virgin Mary, I would have thought it was Aunt Jemima. I had no idea at all that was supposed to be the Virgin Mary.
I always assumed a traditional picture of the Virgin Mary with dung thrown on it.
You meant like a European picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, which, again, is probably offensive. Because you probably look more like this picture in real life. But the whole thing was just blown up for no reason at all. It's just ridiculous. It's just crazy. Gus, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey,
Yeah.
what is wrong with that dumb-ass rube saying that that kid Adam, his life isn't that hard, probably, with the persecution he gets day to day? That motherfucker has no idea how other races have to deal, especially if you're born in this country and you're of another race or ethnicity.
Right.
And you got to walk around, and everyone thinks you're a fucking foreigner.
Right.
He's a dude. I mean, my folks were born in Cuba. I look like a white guy, so I walk around incognito. People think I'm a white dude, and I hear all this shit, and they talk about spick that, spick this, and I'm like, oh, my folks are from Cuba. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were Italian. You fucking idiot.
It is true. I mean, it's absolutely true, and it's nothing is easier than being the majority. But everybody at one time or another has found, like, remember when your dad took the wrong off ramp or something, and suddenly he's like, shut the fuck up, everybody. He's telling everybody, oh, Jesus Christ. And it would only be like for a minute or two before you're back up. And the whole family was afraid, all right? Because you happen to be in a black neighborhood. Imagine feeling like that every goddamn day.
Right.
That happened to me in Newark, and I'm black. And my father was just like, shut up. We're in a bad spot. Shut up. Keep driving. It's like, don't say anything.
I put a Cuba sticker on my car so I can go into bad neighborhoods safely.
All right, thank you very much, my friend. Although I got news for you, we don't really sit around thinking about Cubans. I know that's going to hurt your feelings. We got enough problems with Mexicans and Puerto Ricans before we even get to Cubans. Desi was a Cuban. We loved them.
Yeah, there's only one Cuban that even comes up on the I can't stand that guy list, and that's Castro.
Really? You don't like him?
No, don't like him.
I like him. His brother I can do without. But something about Castro, it's just, he's always playing Army. It just seems adorable to me. Hey, Vito, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys, good morning to you.
Yeah.
They say, humans are a very violent race, man, and
That is not what your skin color is. Man, if that 9/11 thing would have been pulled off by a bunch of, Irishmen, when I go to the airport, I'd have my eyes out for a tall guy with white skin and a red beard. I want to clock him in his freaking eye, man. But that's just the way it is. There was some towelheads that did it, and that's what we're looking for. That's probably why the aliens won't want to come down and have anything to do with us, man. We're a violent race.
I'll tell you something right now. I mean, we act like race is important. But if you get to a place where there's not big differences between the races, like an all-white country, they'll fucking find a way to divide. They'll fucking do it in a heartbeat. And we would do the same thing here. We would do it in a second. At least here we could pick each other out from a distance. You find yourself over in some of these smaller places, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, we don't go for those fucking brown eyes around here. Now we got problems with them.
I think it was in the Bob Woodward book of after 9/11.
Wired?
Yeah. The White House...
I'm only kidding. That's the Belushi book. Go ahead.
The White House talked about attacking targets in South America after 9/11 to go after some terrorist organizations, encampments there. And it just makes me wonder if they had done that instead of Afghanistan, going after the Taliban, would it be a whole South American thing? Prejudice, like in the airports or whatever. South Americans having a problem making it through life right now.
Well, I'm confused about what you're saying, but Afghanistan, I thought we were on the right track.
Right.
And there were Arabs who attacked. So do you mean that we would be attacking Muslim things in South America, or?
I think we would be attacking Al-Qaeda type things in South America to throw the Taliban in Afghanistan off the track.
So there's Al-Qaeda stuff that's not Muslim? There's not Arab?
I think it may be Muslim, but just also in South America.
But they're not like Arab-based. They're like South American Muslims.
Right, yeah, kind of like the ones in Southeast Asia.
I had no idea that. Hey, Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ron, Fez, what's going on?
You, buddy.
I want you guys, I think there's way too much sympathy going on for the Muslim religion right now. Now, I listen to you guys talk about, the war on this religion war all the time and what's going on overseas right now, when really the answer, all you have to do is turn on the TV. Look at the mindset these people have. Look at the innocent men, women, children that these people have captives. Our brothers and sisters, our Americans, we are over here, our base, we have foundations, we are a country, we are strong, the strongest country in the world. And these Muslims, now I am in no way racist. I am not prejudiced.
Just say what you got to say, Dave.
I got it. I'm tired of it because there's too much sympathy right now. All you got to do is turn on the TV. We need to be a stronger country, quit being so goddamn anti-American, and take care of the problem right in front of our face. It's not as hard as we're making it out to be.
I don't think you've given it a lot of thought, but thanks for calling, Dave.
All right.
See you later, buddy. All right, that's it for us, Fezzy. Bam, thanks for stopping by. We're not going to look at any more of your sick, disgusting pictures. They make Earl throw up. They made Fez queasy.
Oh, come on. They're not that bad.
You're an awful person.
And I believe it gave me a peanut allergy. That's how disgusting.
It'll do that.
Yeah, I got a peanut allergy. That's it for us. We're back here tomorrow. See ya.